All right, you guys. It is David. I am here. I am back. Thank you so much for being here today. Isn't it great? Oh my gosh, right off the rip, we've got Cindy J donating $100. She says, hope November is a better month for you. I love listening to your live streams whenever they happen. Today is a sunny day. And YouTube has changed the interface on how I get in here. I've got a wider screen now, but I get to see all your comments still. And everything is good. David, you are here. Yes, David is back. Yes, welcome back, Master David. Angry Daddy returns. Did you sell your house in Colorado yet? No. Unfortunately, we're just not getting interest and we're not getting buyers. But, you know, we keep on fighting. And thankfully, we have really good stuff going on with our aerospace company that provides another source of potential revenue to solve that problem. So we're just working on it. But, yeah. Can we pray for financial success for all of us? Yes, absolutely. Sydney Mansfield, David, long time no see. Hello, friend. Wade Woodruff, wonderful, wonderful. And somebody asked about Shadow. Yes, we are going to be covering some Alliance stuff today. It's a good time to get back into some of that. So, dude, if you have been following the work that I do, then you know that over the last 2 years, really, I've covered intensively this insider battle that has just been going on behind the scenes, and you know, it's pretty easy to see where the lines are drawn. A lot of people don't really understand what's happening. They don't get the intricacies of this, and it's very easy to get polarized, and we don't want to turn against each other. This is a very important point. We want to unify across the aisle. We want to have everybody get along with each other as much as we can. That's very, very important. But in the meantime, hello from Spain. I hear you, David. So good to see you. Dazzled jacket and white shirt. I knew that was you, says Moonstone Mind. We love you, David. 3i Atlas, says Ron Starr. Yes, we are definitely going into 3i Atlas today. I might do another show like that will be different the next time, that will go into a lot more detail. Dr. Avi Loeb, I got to give him credit. I mean, he's a Harvard professor. He's the guy at the epicenter of this whole 3i Atlas thing. And man, he is just cranking out on avi-loeb.medium.com, cranking out so many articles about this stuff. He's a prolific writer. And there's a very interesting thing going on here. Who could have imagined, with me being in the UFO business and everything, you know, and it is a business, you know, this is how I make my living, is talking about this stuff, that this would become so mainstream. It's one of the wildest things I've ever seen, that, you know, where everybody is talking about the idea that there could be some sort of giant Manhattan-sized spaceship, 33 miles long, flowing into our solar system from outer space, that it's got the same thing as it's coming from within 9 degrees of where the WOW signal was originally located. This was something that they found using the advanced technologies of trying to scan for radio frequency signatures in the sky. Same thing you see in the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. Beverly Adams says, David, I'm having a private Zoom with Nino on Wednesday. Is it okay if I ask if we can do a 3-way Zoom about my father's 2014 prophecy and beyond? Let me see how my schedule is working. I'm not really sure yet. I think I might have something on Wednesday already, but yeah, we're already at 1,772 concurrent viewers. Oh, Kayla Lynn, David, will you marry me? Love, Kayla. That's kind of a big step. But she did donate $99.99, so maybe that's like my dowry included. Anyway, that's great. What would Angry Daddy say about the return of the prodigal son? Well, let me tell you something, son. All this stuff about this spaceship coming in from outer space, I just don't buy it. If it were up to me, and nobody said that it was, but if it were up to me, I'd say, for God's sake, it's just a comet. It's all this crazy hype. You guys are out there trying to act like this is so amazing and woo-woo. You just think that it's all this crazy stuff that's going on. Please, please, David, for the love of God, will you tone the rhetoric down a little bit and just try to understand when you're seeing a comet and they're just blowing up a bunch of hype because they want ratings and they want media. Oh, my God, son. Would you please just get it together and try to be a little bit more sober about this whole thing? I mean, for God's sake. Anyway, there's a little Angry Daddy action for you. Got to give you some love right at the beginning from dear old Daddy. And Sunshine Valentine says, first time on live, God bless you. I watch you, very funny, and I will watch you more. Excellent. I missed Angry Daddy, and I have had it. Beverly Adams just donated again. After that, perhaps we can coordinate. Thank you. See what we can do. She says, if you marry me, I'll give you $500, LOL. That's really funny. When do we get to the alliance narrative, says Silvio Alexander. Just be patient. We're getting there. The world is an illusion. You know, we're in a hologram here. And wow, we already got 2,117 viewers, so we are really picking up speed very quickly here, and that's great. Thank you guys for being here today. It is exciting for me to do this show. You know, I have a lot to offer you. So today is a really cool day because we have, hold on, let me work with that a little bit. So much is going on right now. My God. We missed you so much, says Orimo Art. How are you? I'm doing great. It's definitely been a very intense experience, a lot of ups and downs for me, but you know what? I keep fighting and I'm not giving up, and I'm going to show up here for you as much as I can. So we just keep the flow going, we keep the show going, and it's a great time to be alive. So anyway, here we are in this very unique situation where all of our fears seem to be getting blown into our face from every direction. And it's not easy. It's not easy to be alive right now. It's not easy to be on planet Earth. There's a whole lot of challenging things going on. There's a whole lot of... Kayla Lynn, I would like to take Angry Daddy. My husband is actually divorcing me. I'll be a single mom too. Thank you. Sunshine Valentine, Ishmael Perez. You mentioned him, and I'm not skipping his name, but you know. Anyway, thank you. So we are here today because all this interesting stuff is going on in the world, and the topic for today, of course, is the idea of harmony in the midst of chaos. So let's start out at the beginning by saying I want to again say how much I love and appreciate all of you. And I am very sorry that I had to miss the preceding 3 weeks. I've been doing my best to navigate the stresses of my life. So thank you for showing up to spend time with me today. It means the world to me that you want to hear me speak, and I will deliver the goods despite any circumstances. And again, thank you guys so much for the donations. The donations are greatly appreciated, and they are critical. So it's very, very important that, you know, we say the thanks and, you know, keep the flow going. I'm going to keep on fighting for you guys. I'm going to keep on doing whatever I can do to be a positive role model and to be a good influence. It's intense. I hope David is not having tech problems. There doesn't seem to be any tech problems. I'm just having to... Norma says I was praying for you to be alive. No, I'm alive. Everything is good. Just had a lot of really intense, challenging experiences going on, lots of ups and downs. But that's kind of how life is sometimes. You know, you just have to take the good with the bad. And I tell my family, this is David Day. Everybody let me be, says Arwen. 3i Atlas is coming from the same constellation as the WOW signal. Yeah, it's about in the same approximate 9-degree area of space. That's one of the things that Dr. Avi Loeb has said. So yeah, I never would have expected that a story this wild would become so mainstream that everybody is talking about the idea of a UFO coming into our solar system. And love and blessings to you anyway, she says, Sunshine Valentine. Thank you very much, Sunshine. Judy Booth donated $20. Bonnie Demlong donated $20. Thank you guys very, very much for that. That really just helps incredibly well. We missed you, David. Happy to see you from the UK. Thank you for all your beautiful work, says Miam Baldi. David Uetu Tu Nu Monk, says Flying Sparrow. That's in French. This indigenous elder appreciates you, says Richard D. Ial Kolitz Elder. Good to see you, David. We love you, says Ilka 5. So anyway, life is good, and I was able to make it back on here and be a part of your life again today, and I'm really happy that you're here with me. So I think we're all going through hell right now, and since I'm one of those people, I'm teaching what I learn. You know, we got to keep the flow going, keep the magic alive, and want to be here for you guys in whatever capacity I can be. So that involves, you know, showing up, getting on the camera. Why is it so intense right now? Well, the ultimate reason, you got to peel away the veil and you got to see that there's bigger pieces in play here than what we thought. The universe is actually a living conscious being, and we are not alone in the universe. And so from the beginning of my work, I've been very involved in this esoteric source called the Law of One. Hold on, let's go back to this. The Law of One, Gene Novacek. I hope you scored a vehicle less than 2007 reliable. We're working on the car thing, but it's still, man, it's been challenging. 2 different vehicles that I've already had, and you know, the second one, it's pretty wild. I've been very busy, you guys, but we're clearing everything up. And oh, that's weird. My streaming indication is I got flickering on my streaming indication here. I'm not sure why that is happening. Are you guys having any problems with the stream? I just want to make sure that it's okay, because the stream icon is fluctuating. Oh, I guess that's probably because let's see what's happening here. Stream latency. All right, are you guys able to, just a couple of small glitches, but mostly okay? All right, no problem. Video and audio are good. You sound great. Okay, I think that was probably the result of switching camera angles too quickly, because now it's not happening. So I got to make sure that I don't do that, I guess, because we're on a very low latency. It has been interrupted several times. Somebody says, not today, not today. Richard Ayal says, surprisingly, you did a good name in pronouncing my last name. He's a Cowlitz elder. However, the first syllable of my tribe's name sounds like the 4-legged animal that moves. So, Cowlitz. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so I guess I got to be careful about switching camera angles too fast. Ross Feinstein, my wife Jill and I have been watching you our entire relationship. You are our Sunday school, LOL. We are hoping we all end up in Sedona together sometime soon. If you do live gatherings, we will be there. Cutting in and out here in Swanoa in North Carolina. It's been happening all week. Great audio. Okay. So I think the key here is that I got to be careful not to switch camera angles too much, but that's okay. But we do want to have our slide activity as well. So this year's sagging economy is definitely mirroring what's happening with the pandemic in 2020. We're definitely going through some very intense economic hardship right now. That's part of what's going on. So here's just an example of it. For Hollywood, you know, one particular industry that we can look at here. Oh my God. We just had it totally gap out on me. So this is strange. I don't know if I can change the latency or how this is all working out here, but wow. Are you guys okay? You guys able to see and hear everything okay? Because I'm getting lots and lots of fluctuations on my, oh man. Internet is glitchy. You are good, it's working fine, looks fine. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit disturbing, because when I do the slides, we're getting these glitches. Okay, you guys say it's good. Wow, now they're really flying in. Good here, keep going. It's okay on my end. Everything looks good. The broadcast is just fine. It's not bad, but it did just skip once. Okay, it looks like when I stay on this camera angle, it's fluctuating again. Yeah, I really am not sure why this is happening. We've got everything set up properly as far as I can see, but my little icon over here keeps going from green to yellow to red. And in my entire life, that has never happened before. So maybe I'm going to need to update the software, or I'm not really sure what's going on here. It is definitely fluctuating, buffering, whatever. Looks like there's just minor fluctuations in the signal, but not sure exactly what to do about this. You say it's perfect on your end. So I have a little icon that shows me my stream health, and it's always green, or at least it always was green, but now it's turning yellow, and it also sometimes turns red. And I'm not exactly sure what's causing it. Maybe part of it is the speed that I'm speaking. You say it's an occasional 1 second lag. Ted Bergeron said that. I can see you just fine. 3i Atlas is beaming in. Check your physical connections. It's definitely not the connections. I think the YouTube interface has changed to some degree. Maybe I need to restart the live stream. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna try to keep it going the way it is and just hope for the best. Put all your equipment in the dishwasher, somebody says. It's not Windows. I use a Mac. Sometimes you may need to go off and come back on if it gets too bad, says Space Cadet Lottie. All right. Anyway, it's likely people's machines and connections to the internet were holding true at 2,141 viewers. It looks perfect. Red is critical. YouTube is not receiving enough data to maintain the stream. The connection is unstable or too slow. The stream may freeze, buffer heavily, or go offline. Yeah, that is, it just turned yellow again. Man, this really sucks. It just turned yellow again. So, and we have a perfectly clear day. My internet signal is good. Anyway, the pandemic was obviously like a very intense time for us, and now we've got this new situation where the economy is bad again this year, so we're all going through very intense initiation experiences, including Hollywood. Shutdown is causing us many problems as government shutdown. This is just one of many examples. Air traffic controllers asking us for donations as it drags on, making the system less safe, asking for paychecks. How do they take care of their children? So the potential loss of the SNAP benefits was a huge catalyst that a lot of people, you know, I was very worried about it. It's like, man, the insiders that I spoke to said that, it's really buffering. They said that you can take up to 8 days before people start to really go nuts and want to lose their stuff when it comes to this type of behavior. So violent behavior, that kind of stuff can definitely result from having these problems occur where there are so many people who are hungry. If you have mass starvation in an area, after 8 days, they start to do crazy stuff. That's about how long it usually takes. This has been studied in various third world countries where collapses occurred. So we know that it's not a good thing at all if that type of stuff happens. And people are saying it's lagging for a second or two here or there. Other people are saying no glitches, it's perfect. So yeah, it seems like the quality of the screen, you know, a lot of the time it looks really, really sharp. Sometimes it's diminishing slightly, it goes back and forth. But we're going to keep on going. J. Bo Phillips says, Dave Hodges said 3i Atlas is like a beachhead op followed by something even larger coming from the same area as the WOW signal. Have you heard anything about that? Yep. Well, it's definitely a strange thing. Why are they promoting this so much? What is really going on here? Well, I was told, again, all the way back in 2001 from Dr. Carol Rosen at the Disclosure Project, everybody heard this, that she was Wernher von Braun's secretary, and he told her that when the powers that were are at the end of their rope, that they're going to have one last big move they're going to try to make to try to keep control over the planet, and that would be the false idea that somebody's coming in and causing us problems, and it wouldn't be real. It would be all staged. So isn't that something? I'm just going to change the angle and see if that has any effect on this icon and how it's working. No, it looks actually pretty good right now. So anyway, some of these problems that we're having may be just because of how many people are logging in. Oh, no, it went yellow again. Okay. So I'll try not to pay too much attention to it, but I just want to make sure that I'm on the air. Packet loss is occurring. Try reducing your bit rate 500 to 1,000 less than it currently is. Well, in order to do that, I'd have to sign out and sign back in. Let's just see what the output settings are listed at right now and how we're doing. If you create a new destination with a higher quality than the one you currently have, the quality of the new destination will be reduced. To avoid this, please stop all broadcasting before creating new destinations. All right, well, there is no new destination, so we're not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, it should be fine. Everything should be fine. So Anyway, the idea of people losing their benefits was a really huge catalyst, very scary situation. And, you know, it caused this great fear. And then on the very last minute, everything turned around because the judge ordered that emergency funds get to be tapped into. So this is kind of like the moral of the story, that things look really bad, it looks terrible, it looks scary, and then it ends up working out. And that's where we find harmony in the midst of chaos, which is the subject of today's show. So I just want you to be aware that all the time that I've been talking to you guys, we've had these scary things popping up. It's just that now there seems to be more of them than ever before. We're getting a lot more of them, a lot more regularly. And I want you to be able to meditate, and I want you to breathe into a safe space and just learn how to feel that confidence that can come from the trust in the universe, because the universe is benevolent. The universe is a loving consciousness that we were made out of, and we are all images of that one infinite creator, made in God's image, if you want to use that term. So it's a very powerful series of events that are taking place right now. And I think one of the main points here is, let's see if I can get away with doing this without the stream going bad. We got a lot of people commenting here, so let's read some of these. Thanks a lot, David, for notifying me ahead of time you're going to have a show today. 3I is third eye. I hadn't even thought about that. Atlas is a ship from the Galactic Federation coming from Lyra. It's flying in to change our frequency and assist in planetary ascension. That would be great if it's true. So we have, it's been escalating these last 2 months. How do we know when there will be an FF, and can that be the real thing? It could be. That's why, again, I'm trying to get you guys ready for the possibility that there could be disruptions in society, there could be glitches, there could be, all sorts of things that we're not really seeing here. The mic is not peaking. No, the mic definitely should not be peaking. It looks pretty good to me. The volume levels are great. 3I Atlas, yeah, and Atlas is kind of like a map, It's so the mapping of the third eye, right? It would make sense that they would have symbolic connotations in the name 3I Atlas. And I'm not using OBS Studio. Activate posts on your YouTube for those of us who don't have X and other newfangled things. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I don't know about that. 3IA is actually blank IA alphanumerically. That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. There can be ambushes, somebody's saying. How is Arthur doing? Well, Arthur has been really up and down. He didn't get any sleep last night. It was a crazy situation. So the night before last night, he really didn't get any sleep. So everybody says it looks good. Everything is good. It's the Atlas facility that discovered it, hence the name Atlas. Well, that could be what's on the surface, but we always look for deeper things. Greg Theroux donated $77.77, as you can see right here. Thank you very much for that, Greg. Whoa, when I cut to that angle, we're really getting glitchy now. So let's try. I guess probably because I'm one of the only people that does multiple camera angles like this. It could be that it's just only me. I'm one of the only ones that uses multiple camera angles, and so the stream isn't really built for that, I guess. Because definitely when I hit that button and went over to the wide shot, we started to get a lot of fluctuations. So I think it's probably using, virtual buffering to try to keep everything steady. So I'll try to stay on this camera for the most part so that we don't have the problems occur. Yeah, right now when I'm on this camera, everything looks good. So anyway, life ends up crushing you to break the shell around your heart. That's the next point that we had reached on here. That's one of the things that happens to us from time to time. See if I can do a short burst like that without it glitching, and it actually looks okay. That one didn't mess up the stream, so that's good. Wilcock is doing urine therapy. No, I'm not doing any urine therapy. I haven't even had a bath in a really long time. Roger Zabarik, he's one of our great donors, and he says, thank you, it looks great from Florida. What is a like button, says Linda Kiesling. It's there on the bottom. Cosmin just donated $4.99 in Rons, whatever that is. C. Bird, can we still get in on Stavati? I don't know. You can email in and find out. I think we're pretty much almost done with that, but if you want to email in to stavati.com, we'll find out if there's anything else. So yeah, 3i Atlas, somebody says Patricia W. is unmanned by beings, something about it being remote controlled energetically. So anyway, company policy, you didn't do anything wrong. This is how it had to happen, mostly because I said so, says Jack Starr. Okay. 3i Atlas stands for the third interstellar object, and Atlas is the telescope that was used to find it. Right, but there could be symbolic reasons for why they would call it that. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it's an interesting, very interesting situation, isn't it? I mean, UFOs were never treated very respectfully by the mainstream media, and all of a sudden this is becoming a big, big deal. We got Derek D. David, I'm the grandson of Daniel Salter from the original Disclosure Project in 2001, reaching back out to connect and discuss his cosmic clearance info. I would love to collaborate and share soon. Please let me know how to reach you. Well, you can always write in to divinecosmos.com, or you can contact me on X. And either way, you know, that either one of those two things would be fine. So yeah, it would be good. It would be good to connect. Because I know who he is, and Daniel Salter was one of the most interesting insiders we have. Rafi Turtle keeps sending this message over and over again. Mr. David, is there a way to contact your support center in YouTube? Well, yeah, I mean, you could try that. I asked because Spencer can still participate in your live chat, so is there a way to contact them ASAP if you can tell me? I'm not really sure, but, you know, we do have a page here that, you know, there should be ways to contact me. You could do it in the comments or something like that. I guess that would be one way to do it. Wonderful, wonderful, says Wade Woodruff. I just watched a video with Dr. Michael Sall. It was amazing. Wilcock, you are a genius. Walk without rhythm. Welcome back, you stunner, says Midnight Mark. So isn't it funny, man? It's funny how this is all playing out. It's really become very interesting how they're dangling this in front of our faces all the time, and what are the implications, and what does it really mean for humanity? And again, we're trying to find harmony in the midst of chaos. That's the subject of today's show. So the media is pushing a lot of fear around this topic. You know, it's not, they're calling it a Trojan horse, and they're saying that it could be, you know, it could collapse the stock market, and you know, that society could be greatly disrupted by the arrival of this unusual visitor. So it's a very, very interesting situation, and I'm not really sure what else is going to happen from here on out. You know, we're definitely taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, looking at all of our options and saying, okay, what is really going on here? And I believe that it is something that was manufactured on purpose by us from certain members within our group, because it was intended, just like Von Braun said, to show up at the end in a big way. Now, for us, most people would say, oh my God, something from totally outside the solar system that's way beyond our technological capacity. Not if you get into this world of the secret cover-ups. Classified realities, you know, black ops technology. These areas carry secrets that most of us cannot imagine. And so the whole concept of where is 3i Atlas coming from, how did it get here, I propose that it could actually have been built by people from here, and that they could be using it because there is this war going on between factions. We have warring factions, and you might not like either one of them, but they're both working on the same ultimate goals, which is to try to have their perspective win out over planet Earth. And so one of those goals is actually much more positive than the other. But they both want to see that their side wins, basically. Trada 1111 says, will they ever enter the new secret pyramid tunnels? Will you be part of the entry team, and could it be live streamed? I would love that if it ever did happen. Definitely would love that. Linda Kiesling says, right on, I've known about it for 35 years. SaturnNet1 says, I don't think 3i is ours. Well, we don't really know. Okay, we don't know whose it is, but what we do know is that it's very anomalous and it's very interesting. So I just wonder what really is the agenda here. And, oh, the Atlas is the cervical that holds the human skull to the spine. That is true. That's another potentially good way of looking at it. It's holding up the head You know, and what kind of head are they holding up? Are they trying to hold up the head of this insider group by bringing this out? And then the three eyes, the third eye, right? That's an interesting angle. So there's all this interesting stuff that they're saying about it, that it's off-gassing nickel. That would normally only be done if it was an artificial object, that comets normally don't do that. Dr. Avi Loeb is pretty much one of the main sources out there talking about this. We also have Dr. Michio Kaku talking about this. I'm very interested in it. Very interested in what the heck this is about. And again, when the media starts showing you something all the time, is it an accident? Usually not. There's an agenda behind that. There's a reason why they want you to see these things. There's a reason why this is being promoted so much. So I believe that there is a ballet dance of fear going on. They are trying to usher us through some stuff that's going to be scary, but that the point is that they, you know, this could be some type of staged event. Again, you know, I get that it's fun to speculate that it could be the real thing and it could be benevolent, it could be Space Brothers or whatever, but I'm not convinced that's what it is. Thomas Flips says, I think 3i Atlas is Space Force and ETs raising the Earth's vibration and thus raising our own. And Atlas is a map, right, says my pal Sal. Stefan Burns is talking about it too. KISS formula says Mara Low, keep it simple, stupid. Please explain why Elon is using rockets instead of electromagnetic propulsion, says Johnny. Well, I mean, we don't usually have this. The other types of propulsion have not been declassified yet. Ooh, it just went totally red. Oh. As soon as I said Elon, let me not keep saying that. Wow. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Because when I said those words, it went totally red. Just want to make sure. Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? Right when I said that, certain keyword, the icon went totally red. So Beverly Adams says, Robert Edward Grant, just keep rolling, keep rolling. Yep, everybody says it looks great. We can still hear you. You're good. You're fine. Yes. Okay, so he said he's about to unveil flying cars on Joe Rogan. Interesting. I hope that's true. Didn't glitch when you said that here. Okay. So I'm not really sure why all of a sudden I'm getting these notifications of that happening when it didn't happen before. But anyway, we're going to keep on going. There's a lot of activity on the sun. That might be why you're having an issue. That could be. Hadn't really thought about that. Flusha Art says, I'm having 0 issues with the stream. Seems like the worst we're getting is that occasionally the pixels are sort of diminishing in their intensity on my screen, but it's okay. It's all good. No, I'm not being paranoid. I've never had that green icon be other than green before. We've got a very, very high-speed connection, so it shouldn't be a problem there. It just went red and yellow again. I'm definitely going to have to update my software, and maybe they're not maintaining this older version of the software anymore. Who the heck knows what it is? But did you see Bill do a 180 on climate change? Ha, ha, ha. Stream has been fine here. I notice when the viewer count goes up, you comment about your lights. Okay, well, we're at 3,306 right now. Probably just your own download that's messed up, David, but your upload is doing fine. It says David Wilcock, but it is a woman cooking potatoes. Your quality looks 4K here in the Dominican Republic. Right, we'll give him a different name like the Big E. It all looks good on our end. Go ahead and continue your show. Stop looking at your light. Okay, we'll do the best that we can do with that. Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Okay, you were reluctant to let Wynn publish your book, Reincarnation of Edgar Casey. I wanted to tell you I'm so grateful you did. It changed my life and helped me quantum leap. Thank you so much. All right. Well, yeah, when I see my live feed, everything looks good. We're just getting subtle changes, but I'll just keep on going, you guys. So anyway, the main point of today's talk is how the harmony can be produced in the midst of chaos, that these challenges that we're facing are not to be undermined, but actually to be integrated. And we're trying to integrate as much as we can with what we know. We're trying to learn about ourselves. We're trying to find new pathways, new doorways for our own education and understanding. So intense suffering, as the Law of One calls it, that's my spiritual source text. They call these things, when very intense things happen to you, they call it catalyst. And they say that catalyst is what ultimately promotes your own spiritual growth. So initiation is the process of moving through catalyst, and we are all going through this collective initiation together, where the intensity level is rising for everyone. That's a very, very important point. We're all going through this at the same time. The pace is unrelenting and overwhelming, and seeing the positive and learning to take the win is an essential step. You don't want to get bogged down in feeling like every new challenge is overwhelming and then you just only focus on that challenge. It's a very good exercise to learn to take the win, to learn to step back and realize when something good has happened. And a lot of times, that's what I keep saying, you get faked out and it looks like things are really bad and it looks like all is lost and it looks like it's this dire, disastrous situation. And then somehow miraculously things turn around and it works out, and it's not what happened. So somebody said if your computer needs updates, it will lag. Well, we probably do, because definitely we're definitely needing to do some updates here. So anyway, this is the first time this has ever happened, but for the most part, it's all working out pretty well. 3i Atlas could be an Atlantis type of event. I'm not sure what that means. Well, yeah, I mean, they want you to be afraid. That's part of what this is about, as I keep saying. And it's a challenging situation, to say the least. We're up to 3,472 concurrent viewers. That's pretty good. So thank you guys. I keep falling behind the stream. A couple seconds of cuts, says Joe Colomedici. No issues in South Africa. So some people are getting it, some people are not. Sorry about that if you're having any glitches. I didn't really know that this was going to happen. But we just keep on fighting and we keep on keeping on. All right, so you got to take the win. That's very important. You get conditioned to see the world in three-dimensional terms, and so we have to break the conditioning to see the universe as it really is. Ultimately, to properly view the universe is to properly view the self. And so the real lesson of many of these esoteric bodies of information is there's actually only one of us here, and that would be the one infinite creator. So we are all perfect holograms of the one infinite creator. We've come together for a sacred purpose to be on this earth together at this time. And life is giving us very intense challenges. I've had very intense challenges in my life, so I'm sorry I haven't been here for a while. I spend a lot of time just working through my problems and doing my best to try to alleviate whatever I can. But it has been super, super intense. And I know you're probably going through the same thing. Aetherius said the Law of One is an objective, universal guide of the spiritual paradigm. Alex Jones, let's try not to say keywords. The good guys don't join together or wake up until the end of the fight, and that's when they get together and take out the problem. You better fix your hair, baby. Okay, well, make it a little bit less crazy here on this side, this side. There you go. You like that a little bit better? Qu'est-ce qui se passe, says Fanny. All right, so, Greg Theroux, somebody said nice donation. 3.3 thousand viewers should be at least 2,000 likes. Okay, yes, smash the like button if you haven't already done so. And again, thank you guys for, they're going up right now. We're at 1,114 likes. They're going up. Keep on hitting the like button. I now get to see those things. I couldn't see all these things before, but I appreciate that. And, Christina Trefan just donated $20, said epic fail. Sorry if you're having any failures in our stream, but it looks pretty good to me over here. I'm just going by the default stream here. It looks excellent. That's what it's telling me, so it's all good. Hit the notification bell as well. Yes, now we're up to 1,267 likes, and I really appreciate you guys for helping us out with that. That's a great thing that you can do for us. So, yeah. There's only one of us here. This is one of the big teachings that we get from a variety of esoteric sources. And I've brought this up before, but I want to bring it up again because it's such a great philosophical point that we can use for any discussion. The geometric unity of creation. The core teaching behind the Star of David, or in three-dimensional shape, it would be like this. This was Nima Arkani Hamed and Yaroslav Trunka, again, describing this jewel at the heart of quantum physics, the amplituhedron. It says a newly discovered mathematical object resembling a multifaceted jewel in higher dimensions. Encoded in its volume are the most basic features of reality that can be calculated, the probabilities of outcomes of particle interactions. So, and here's the two guys who did it. It's mostly Nima Arkani Hamed. He's the one who's really been carrying the torch ever since, but his co-author at the time was Yaroslav Trunka. And so the big point here, that again is such a great philosophical point to begin any show with, is the idea that all of space and time is actually emanating from a single geometric form. I mean, it's just a phenomenal way of looking at things that really changes the game, because now we're no longer just living in an isolated, separate human body. And we're now no longer alone in the universe. We're part of some infinite consciousness that's actually creating all of space and all of time simultaneously. And that seems hard to believe. It seems hard to believe that we could actually be going through our lives with this backdrop of an intelligent, infinite consciousness that's really running the show. And that we can feel so lost and so cut off from reality, and yet there it is. This infinite consciousness is all around us. Mohammed Shingidi donated 89.99 SARs. Jenny Jean Raza says, things have been intense. Everyone's unhealed trauma is on full display. That's right. And so it's a very good thing to remember that the universe is alive and intelligent. And when you start to have that perspective guiding you, you get a lot farther along than you might have otherwise. You're starting to have a better view of reality and a better view of yourself and what your real objective is. What are you really here to achieve? What is your goal in life? You know, what was the reason for why you were put on this earth to begin with? And is that something that, can be healed? Can you heal yourself and find a way to live your life with more authenticity? And can you find a way to have harmony in the midst of chaos? There's so much chaos going on right now. And it's such an intense time that, again, reminding yourself that you're part of this infinite consciousness, I feel, is a very, very important step. And somebody just got their commercial. The E8 Lies geometric figure defines all subatomic particles and has a Star of David at its core, says Phil K. Yes, the E8 is a very interesting thing to look at for sure. More shapeshifters seen in November, says Patricia W. We are talking about the Alliance today as well, so, it's definitely important to bring that up. This illusion that we live in includes the idea of both positive and negative extraterrestrial beings coming in, and both sides are represented in the UFO phenomenon. So we have angels, we have demons. As I keep saying week after week, these are all very real beings that have a very important role to play in our lives. Axis Mundi said, I heard 3i Atlas turned from green to blue and has a spherical shape. I hadn't really heard that, but this is interesting. Vacapalo is back. Hello, David. Finally caught up with you live at double speed. Okay, you went double speed to get up to the present moment. Well, thank you for being here, Vacapalo. Great picture and sound in southern Kentucky. We're glad to hear that. I think for the most part, it's working out pretty well. I'm not sure why it's acting glitchy, but what I will do is I will update my software. I definitely pay for the support, so we'll get that done. And hopefully the next time this will be all fixed and I'll have everything updated, the new operating system. We'll get suffering from ADS, Angry Daddy Syndrome. Dear David, on Wednesday morning, go outdoors before 9 o'clock and don't forget to take your camera, says Marian from Czechia. And Nancy King says, don't worry about your stream, it looks fine. Okay. So if all of space and time is the emanation of a geometric form, that's a really, really stunning thing to see. And they're calling it the amplituhedron, as we said before. It has dazzling philosophical implications. Now, Black Swan Sybil says, I'm glad you're back, David. You're always in our prayers. Things are very optimistic right now. There is so much love. We can align with it. She donated $100. Thank you very, very much for that. Crystal Swishu, another long-term donor, says, from the bottom of my heart, humbly, at the best of my ability, thank you, David, for your uplifting presence. Love to you all. David, what software are you using? The stream looks amazing 95% of the time. Yeah, I think it's just only showing me subtle fluctuations, and it doesn't really... Okay, let's get to the real point. Yes, I agree. YouTube froze on me, says Jabo Phillip. Never be afraid. So, the dazzling philosophical implications of this are that we are not alone in the universe, and that their consciousness of the universe is our consciousness. We're all interconnected here. It's very, very fascinating. So again, the name of this object is called the amplituhedron, or the positive Grassmannian. That's one of the names for it as well. And I just want to show it to you once again because it started out looking like this. I said, I don't know. They're saying that all of the universe is created off of this shape. Everything that we see is a function of this shape. It's all space and time emanating off of this one object. And this is, again, what it actually looks like. We got, really all we see here is 4 tetrahedrons, 4 of these geometric objects stuck together. And that is so amazing because, as you know, I've been a really big proponent of the sacred geometry model of the cosmos. Sacred geometry being the way that things are really working here, where reality is constructed from this vibratory essence, and sacred geometry is vibration. So this really fits in so beautifully with all the history that we've had about, you know, geometry as being this sort of unifying concept in the universal physics that we're looking at. It's really, really cool, actually. So Sir Roger Penrose had a prototype of this same geometry. He was the first one to come up with this idea in the 1970s that you can actually model all of the subatomic particles in the quantum realm just by looking at this particular shape. But it wasn't symmetrical enough. He didn't quite solve all the problems. There was some issues that prevented this from being a full-blown solution. People are saying, we missed you. Geometric objects are the basis of all life. Tetrahedron is one of the strongest objects in geometry. That is true. So this is what Nima Arkani Hamed discovered was the real solution that ties it all together for you. It's right here. And again, it looks like the Merkaba here. So we can phase shift back and forth between the two and see that, yeah, sure enough, you could add more tetrahedrons to the amplituhedron, not exactly, but approximately. Add more tetrahedrons in and get something that is approximately going to be like this star tetrahedron. Is that really the essence of what's going on here? Well, it may be. It may actually be. So the point here is that all of us are a collective emanation of this one form. Now let me just keep that on the screen here. I'm going to go over and turn on my heater because it's gotten a little bit cold in the room here. So I'm just going to do that while you guys are with me here. In fact, let's close this window. And we'll do that. All right. And just give us a little bit of heat so that we have some love. Okay. Anyway, life is good because when you realize what's going on, that we're in this collective hologram, everything starts to change. You know, it's not the same old universe anymore. It's a dynamic universe that's alive and intelligent and conscious. So it's a very important thing to keep that cosmic perspective in mind when we get down into the minutia of everyday life, because without this collective emanation, you know, it would seem like we're alone in the universe. It would seem like there isn't any hope. And this implication also is that time is not linear in the greatest sense, that in fact, the universe already happened. I think that's one of the other ones that I have in here. So if time is not really linear, then we're living in a hologram. And that hologram takes us through so many interesting variations of knowledge and information and guidance to really understand that like time is holographic, and that everything already happened, or the universe is in a state of becoming. That's what the law of one says. It's very, very fascinating, and I love it. So we're now up to 3,596 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate everything that you're doing. And I'm just going to keep on looking at my stream because the stream looks good. So we'll take it from there. So yeah, there it is. The universe already happened. That's one of the big spiritual teachings that we have. And again, as I said before, from the law of one, the universe is in a state of becoming. These are fascinating insights. In other words, there is no linear time, but throughout a nonlinear time framework, the universe is actually becoming something more. It's becoming something new. It is changing. It is revealing itself to us in greater and greater ways all the time. And so 3i Atlas is getting everybody thinking in a very cosmic way. It's a very, very big shift from the perspective that we normally would have. And it's a really cool thing. I'm really happy that this is happening in the world. And I hope that you're happy about it too. So the amplituhedron mirrors ancient symbols, as I've said many times, like the Star of David and Tibetan mandalas. So, for example, we can look right here at this Tibetan symbol and see there's the Star of David. And this actually is intended to show you the foundation of the universe, the original creation, and how there was this primordial sound, the Aum, that then blossomed the universe into existence, bloomed it into being. How fascinating that that's what we got. And then right here, we see another star tetrahedron. And, this is, again, coming off a Tibetan mandala, showing how the universe was originally created. Vakapalo donated and said, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, all it will be already was. And then we have Solomon, who retracted the message for some reason. Not sure what that's about. But anyway, certain messages did get retracted here. I'm not sure how that happened, but maybe there's certain things that if you write them, it will just automatically happen. Michael Talbot says, Linda Moulton Howe sat next to him on a flight somewhere. That's interesting. I'm sure they had a great conversation. Double check your source for Michio Kaku. I was almost fooled by an AI version of him last week. Axis Mundi, it's holographic. That's why Jesus was already visible in the Old Testament even before he was born into flesh. Then he died and ascended into his light body again. Yeah, I think the Jesus story is very critical. It's meant to show us how we're all part of the same thing, how we're all part of this infinite creator. Mito Monte, time integrates within itself. A single tapestry, when you pull one thread, it moves another. Consciousness is self-perception, information aware of itself in a closed circuit, and all of it is in a geometric shape. Michael Jackson says, JP got the red light and is going dark. There's allegedly big things coming. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about the big things that are coming and where I think this is all going here. But again, here's another example of the Tibetan mandalas. And these are all vibrational. We see them appearing as geometries in water when water is vibrated by sound. This was, again, the work of Dr. Hans Jenny. Talked about this many times before. Pioneering this particular form of research, where what we see is, again, this is a drop of water that has sand particles in it, and where the sand shows up is the areas that you see that are white, and where the water is the areas that are black. I mean, obviously the water is everywhere, but the point is that the sand is mysteriously arranged into this geometric pattern. Whoa! So that just went totally red. But actually, okay, it's back. I mean, I look okay on the screen. There might be some new buffering technology that YouTube is using for when my images are less filled with bits. I'm just checking on what's going on here, but no, it looks okay, and everything's okay. So wow, it's just scary as hell that the thing keeps going red on me. That never happened. Okay, the stream went out for a second, but came back. YouTube is having some problems. It froze for a second, but now you're back. Yeah, so It doesn't really like it when we're doing slides, unfortunately, which really sucks. But anyway, the vibrational geometry is a big thing here. Again, this is what happens in 2 different phases of vibration. The sand changes its form from one to the other, as you can see right there. And, you know, that's how we're rolling here. We're rolling in a universe that is vibrational. And so atoms, molecules, all this stuff is actually formed by these vibrational emanations that have really stunning implications to all of us. Yeah, it says I glitch out when I do slides. So yeah, this is definitely something where we got to try to reduce the dependency on slides. I'll definitely have to make changes in the broadcasting program later on. Zen Wolf Bear says David is giving us ASMR. Well, I appreciate that. I'm honored that you would say that. That's, you know, that's something that people feel good about when they get it. So again, sound frequencies make this geometry, including the human voice. We talked about that before, that our words create geometric resonance, and our thoughts are also creating geometric patterns. So this is very critical as we get into the, oh, it's starting to glitch again. Wow. So yeah, I gotta, I guess, be very careful about using slides, and I'm sorry that that's happened. Definitely update your computer before the next live stream, and this will affect everything you're doing. Stop worrying about the stream, it breaks the storyline. Okay? I'm doing my best, you guys. So again, there's only one of us here, and we're living in a holographic illusion. The universe is built to show us reflections of ourselves. The law of one says to live alone is to live without mirrors. And so if we live in a holographic reality, it's very interesting that the whole universe is ultimately just this one shape, and all photons as we see them now would be emanations from this one shape. Zen Wolf Bear says you don't have a storyline. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So in this holographic illusion, you are totally accountable for how you treat other people, and karma becomes this absolute law that defines positive and negative spiritual paths in the universe, which in the law of one are called service to others versus service to self. So when you're dealing with the service to others path, you have authentic love, patience, and helpfulness, whereas in the service to self path, you have power, manipulation, and control. So we often end up engaging in these behaviors as a way of trying to promote our own survival. Oh, as of November 2nd, YouTube is experiencing widespread technical issues reported by users across various platforms. So this may actually just be something that is happening with YouTube in general, and that's what we just heard from B2R Storm. It might not be me, and it might just be the way that the whole thing is running right now. But again, for the most part, we're still on the air and everything's good. Got 3,313 concurrent viewers. And I'm happy that you're here with me. So let's just keep on going. We'll fight through this as best we can. Now it says 3,780 viewers. Tara Payne says there's a lot of glitches on phones and computers as well. My stream got throttled after I made a comment about so-and-so, these 2 initials. Maybe it's due to the background animation on your slides. It looks much better and is almost professional, says Andrea Scull. Almost professional. Can you imagine that? What did I miss in the first 55 minutes? We're talking about Three-Eye Atlas. We're talking, again, the topic today is harmony in the midst of chaos, how frustrating it is that there's all these problems going on in the world, including problems in our live stream. That's just part of the hologram that we've got today, navigating all these problems. And so I want to give you practical tools to have faith in the outcome, that the outcome is going to be positive, because I know it can be really tough. We're all going through it. It's just super, super intense right now to be alive. And I definitely am feeling that just like everybody else is. So I want to give you a message of hope. I want to give you a message of confidence and support, knowing that, yes, we're going to get through this. We're all going to be fine. It's just taking a lot of work right now to push through this behavior. So again, negative behaviors often are engaged in because it promotes our survival, but in the process, we wall off other people's feelings. So life ends up causing us to be crushed, and this will ultimately break the shell that we form around our hearts. So your life can hit you with really unexpected surprises, and that's just the nature of the game that we're in. It's not a time to be feeling like everything is stable. It's a time to feel very unstable. There's a lot of unexpected upheaval. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of pain. And so we just take it a little bit at a time, one step at a time, without having too many problems, hopefully. David, it's all good. Do your thing. We knew this time was coming. I'm glad the ripple is here so we can move on to better things. Absolutely. Working better than ham, beer, and cigarettes. Woohoo! I kind of like the glitches, says Jocelyn. All right, well, it appears to be something that, is happening to everybody on YouTube right now. So it's probably just a symptom of today. A lot of geomagnetic activity going on. 4 M-class solar flares in the last week. YouTube may be experimenting with AI, according to some content creators. They compared their original videos to the uploaded ones on YouTube, and there were loads of differences. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Okay. Well, certainly when you're live, I don't think they could change what I'm saying or anything like that. But maybe if you watch the playback, I mean, who the heck knows? That's an interesting thing. I like doing live, so anyway, focus. That's right. So we're getting crushed to break the shell around our hearts, and this is caused by intense suffering, which the Law of One refers to as catalyst that promotes our growth. Initiation, that word means moving through catalyst, and right now we are all going through collective initiation. It is getting much more intense for everyone. The intensity level is rising across the board, and the Law of One thankfully tells us that this is leading to a planetary ascension where we will all be upgrading into a fourth density type of life, as they call it. And so Vakapalo says, my chaos right now is grief. Fourth density is a whole new game beyond what we have. And it's a game in which we have ascended abilities. We can levitate. We can communicate telepathically. We have the ability to share our thoughts with each other without speaking. No need to use your mouth to communicate anymore. And you have awareness of your past lives. You have this cosmic consciousness that's apparently very far-reaching. And I know, I'm trying not to talk about the stream, but I also want to make sure it's okay. Anyway, thank you guys for that. So we're upgrading, but the process is far more difficult than most of us think. We're getting crushed as we go through this upgrade. It's a very, very intense thing. The pace is unrelenting and overwhelming, and the negative side clearly seems to be winning at various times. It can actually feel that way. You absolutely believe that something bad is going to happen, but then by some miracle that you didn't expect, the problem vanishes. And this is a very consistent thing. I've called it a Michaelism in the past, because again, Archangel Michael is the source that's been speaking through me, and this was intuitively derived telepathic information using remote viewing protocols, supposedly 99% accurate, from the original military research that goes way back to the 1970s, almost to the time, actually, yeah, the time when I was first born. This stuff was being developed. And so I used those protocols to try to gain insights beyond the 5 senses and had phenomenal results that are still paying off dividends in the now. Frequency 963, I notice my parrot and I share telepathic talks and understanding at times these days. We even giggle about the same things as it happens. That's interesting. Tony Koretch says, I'm having insanely intense dreams, borderline prophetic. Everything I dream, I see in my daily life. Very cool. So, we're doing what we can to be positive in the midst of all this stuff that's going wrong. And you want to maintain that positivity, because so often, as I was saying, by some miracle, these things that you didn't think would ever be able to be healed end up just vanishing right in front of you, and the problem goes away. And it's really phenomenal when that happens. So, there's no harm in being more positive. My mother tells me that on the phone. You got to focus on the things that are good. Take the wins. So both the hurricane and the food stamp issues are examples of this that just happened. So for example, the hurricane was really, really scary. I mean, I didn't know but what there was going to be mass death in the country of Jamaica and Haiti and these other places. But we only had about 50 deaths from the hurricane. So that's really pretty good. It could have been far worse. This was a slide from when it was first showing up. The first ever Category 5 landfall in records going back to 1850. And then what we saw was actually, as you can read right here, only 19 people, at least 19, but still that's way, way less than what you would have thought, given that it was a Category 5 and 30 people died in Haiti. Well, yeah, I mean, any death is sad. We mourn their loss. It's very tragic. But at the same time, you know, when I was looking at this, I was like thinking it could be thousands of people, and that's not what actually happened. So disruptive events do occur, and we have to move with those changes. And of course, parts of Jamaica have been very heavily damaged, destroyed. But we're so glad that people survived. And again, that's the silver lining, that there wasn't as much death as we were afraid there would be. Chris Harju says, since your Namaste video, I've had a tremendous shift. I'm physically feeling better after over a decade. My heart is full. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you very much. That's really great. Fourth density is in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doctrine, referred to as the terrestrial kingdom. Fifth density is the celestial kingdom. 3D is telestial kingdom. I'm hearing 3-eye Atlas is the blue Kachina predicted by the Hopi prophecy, says Blanche Kindrot. What are your thoughts on that? I haven't heard that. It's interesting. Elohim just donated and said, containment broke, divine flow returned. What was once sealed is now moving freely. Collective initiation is the release. Let's go. Goddess Powers Activate said it was created. That was the storm. Come on, guys. Are you going to say something I don't know? Hey, you know what? I hope so. Anyway, it was on a direct collision course with this particular area that was right above it in Cuba. Isn't that interesting? And if this was, you know, could there have been a reason for this? That's one of the questions that people are asking online. Well, this all ties back to the main secret battle of our time, which is, of course, the Alliance versus this other group. So we got to be very, just nice and easy on how we say this. But isn't it strange? You can see now that in terms of the path of where the red lines are, that this particular storm goes right up and it barrels right through and heads directly towards its epicenter, headed right towards this particular complex of buildings. Now, those buildings were built against storms. They were hardened. There was damage that occurred, but it doesn't appear to have been so much that it destroyed everything. But yeah, if you start to get into the idea that somebody's doing this on purpose, or that there was a way in which technology can be used to create things into being and then steer them to varying degrees, that could be what we're actually seeing. Tony Koretch says, I have to be honest, I've completely lost interest in doing anything that is not in my highest good. God has literally removed those things from my life. Any desire I had to do them along with it. I totally agree. And will you tell David what you do not know so he can fit you in? LOL. And on Nino's show, he said they could withstand a Category 7. So yeah, that might be true. Anyway, I think they're going to be fine. But the point is, it looks very suspect, doesn't it? We see the trajectory, how this happened. Even if you're not thinking that would be what it is, it's very, very bizarre, to say the least. So this is military.com confirming they had to do evacuations as Melissa roared toward the Caribbean. And again, if you hear about what all the insider sources are saying, that this was the main holding area that they were going to be using when certain events are supposedly going to be playing out in the world. And so, yeah, a very suspect situation, how this all kind of came into being. And it again shows that we might be right near the end of this whole situation, where somebody knows what's going to happen, and they're trying to offset it by destroying the area that was apparently going to be used for a lot of people to be visiting in the future, where they wouldn't necessarily want to be there, but they've been brought there. So I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but, that's the speculation that's going around online. And, it's very interesting to say the least. It doesn't appear to have been completely destroyed because it was storm hardened. They built it for that to go up to very high levels. There was damage, but not enough to ruin the whole thing. So this particular Cyber Cuba news story says they did suffer severe damage, deserted streets, fallen wires, and affected homes. Also in the eastern region, they had flooding and landslides, strong gusts of wind, persistent rains, and widespread material damage. Deserted streets, fallen branches, electrical wires, and visible damage to homes and state-owned establishments. Constant sound of wind and leaning trees, reflecting a magnitude that continues to affect the province. It was located north of this area at 8 o'clock a.m. with 165 km/h winds and stronger gusts. Crossed the eastern Cuba in early morning hours, flooding, rising rivers, and landslides. In the provincial capital, there was partial roof collapses, broken windows, and fallen trees. So yeah, but I don't think that the actual area G, as we've been talking about, was affected all that much. I think they're certainly going to be able to continue with their operations. So was this some type of structured situation? Could very well be. If you've been following all the stuff that I've been telling you over the years, it's a very, very suspicious situation. It stinks to high heaven. How it got to be so big, and it just went right on a collision course there. But no, I think that that's not going to interrupt anything, and whatever has been planned is probably still well underway and won't be stopped. So I'm going to let you read this next one for yourself, and I'm not going to say something very much here. But it says, let me tell you something. The hurricane is about G. It was done in order to head that direction, to force it to have to be not only to interfere with what's already taking place, but others that haven't happened yet, because again, people will be there sooner than you think. And again, this is the theme that a lot of people have been talking about online, that it actually forced the evacuation, and there was a hope that there would be too much damage for anything to function. Again, do you believe that or not? It's up to you. But rest assured, all those who have done this will still be involved in the future stuff that's going to go down. Whoa, isn't that intense? Charlie Winter just donated $10, says, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you remain safe and unharmed from your town's fire. Oh, that's true. That was so scary and sad, that whole thing. When will the public see anything tangible? Well, we haven't seen it yet, but there's some other slides I got coming up, because again, this week we are getting more into some alliance topics again. Just wanted to... Robert says, David, quit being afraid. Well, not afraid. I'm just trying to be realistic about what our situation is, and let's take pragmatic steps to try to have as much positivity as possible as we're going through all these things. We can't necessarily change the negative events, but again, so many times, like with the hurricane, the negative event looks really scary, and then it ends up working out and everything's okay. And so, again, it looked like G was going to be totally, or somebody might have wanted it to be wiped out, but it seems to be fine. They haven't really had, as far as I can tell, any type of total wipeout, and everything will be able to proceed. David, you have lost weight. That's absolutely true. I'm wearing some, I think I've gone from like a 34 to a 31 waist, something like that. My old pants, which are all my pants right now, they have a huge waistline compared to what I've got. If my goal was to have aesthetic effects from weight loss, well, then the aesthetics are really good. Nothing will stop God's plan. That is right. Wow. Somebody's got some funny things to say. Anyway, you are definitely very real, says Chris G. Thank you very much. And Veronique Moirmont, just sending love to everyone. Akuria Mate, you donated. Thank you very much, Veronique. Really appreciate that. I missed that one. Anybody who donates and anybody who has donated, again, it's really great. It helps me out quite a bit, so I really appreciate that. And again, smash the like button. We've got 1,864 likes. Let's see if we can get it above 2,000. That would be awesome. Have you seen the Disclosure movie yet, David? Does it have anything of substance, or is it more propaganda, says Philip Combs? I haven't seen it more. I haven't seen anything of it yet, but I do want to. Midnight Mark says, David, you do look thinner, but in a healthy way. I appreciate that. There are no coincidences. Brenda Richardson says, David, you are so handsome. Keep up the good work, says Truls Glavin. So we are doing that. So anyway, when we understand what the war is that's going on, it will help reduce your fear in the future. In other words, there's things going on. I mean, obviously those on this side of the political spectrum, you have the blue and so forth. I get it. They're very, very upset. They're very triggered. And it looks like it's just a very, very scary situation. And I don't want to be out there to try to apologize for everything and say, no, it's all perfect. Everything's fine and good. I understand why certain things upset people. I do. But I also have been resolutely focused on trying to see the hidden variable. What's the independent variable? What's the underlying thing that's going on that most people are not seeing? And where is that underlying thing really coming from? What can we do to help ourselves feel less fear, to feel more relaxed, to feel more confident, to be happier about the situation that we're in, instead of feeling like it's just so doom and gloom? And again, probably most of the people who watch this are not in that political category, because if you were, you probably wouldn't want to stay with the show. You'd be annoyed by it. But I personally trust what they're doing. And it may not always be clear, but I do believe that there is a positive goal in mind. And there's just a lot of chaos going on. And so you have to really curtail that desire to be afraid by being informed about what could really be going on here. And if you understand that it is a war, and you understand it's an insider war, and you understand that it's been fought for a very long time, this is, oh my gosh, I got a yellow... It's like a yellow jacket came into the room here. It's flying right in my face. Understanding this war will help you do better in the future. There, he's finally flying away. Yeah, that was like a wasp or something. Actually, a wasp coming into my face during the show. Can you imagine that? Please talk presently. So far, you have said nothing. Come on now. I'm giving you the best show that I can under the circumstances. I'm trying to give you an overview of what's going on. So Babette Wallace donated, thank you very much. Truls Glavin donated 249 NOKs, thank you very much. Yellow Jacket Lives Matter. Yellow Jacket is a message. All right, so, look, I think it's very significant. The Hurricane Melissa thing is very significant. In light of what we know and what we've seen, you got to wonder, like, okay, maybe I don't want to believe that could be possible, but what the hell was going on there? And it's very curious, isn't it? It's like, dang. And we're up to almost 4,000 viewers now. We're at 3,922, so we're gaining more as we go along. It's a very, very interesting situation. So could it be that somebody was trying to destroy this valuable piece of real estate? Yes, it could. And it's just one of those speculations that I think helps you to understand that there is a whole secret thing going on. There's a secret war, and it's very real, and it's very intense, and it's in your face, and it's not something that's going to be, whether it's nothing new. Everybody should be grateful for David. He's doing his best. Thank you, Tony Koretch. I appreciate that. What's your take on 3i Atlas? Well, we've been talking about that. We'll get back to that in a minute. But anyway, understanding this war will help to reduce your fear in the future, and there are going to be other events like this of great magnitude. I was very, very freaked out about this food stamp dilemma, of course. I think everybody was. The well has run dry. 41 million people were facing total hunger and starvation as of right now. And that was just really, really intense. Rosa Scroza says, you look like a composer. Can I play violin with you? If you want to play violin on your side, go for it. Kay Cuthrell says, David, thank you for what you bring. I listen. I'm feeling better about the future. Why is it that I'm watching so little television these days rather than just playing music and reading? I feel the same. I project myself into the television shows too much, and I just, it's too intense now to want to watch most shows. But There's definitely some kind of insider stuff going on that's very serious. It's reaching ahead. Angels for Us just donated $777. Thank you so much for your prayers on David's last show. My test results came back normal. Woo! Isn't that fantastic? Let's see if I can get away with doing this. So there she is right there. Your test results came back normal. That is fantastic. We are very glad to hear that, and we bless you and we bless your health. So let's see if camera angle changes that I'm doing right here are going to cause any glitches. And no, it actually looks pretty good. So, you know, this is like reading the tea leaves, trying to figure out exactly why this is happening, what causes this to occur. But, you know, staying on this angle doesn't seem to be doing anything right now. Here's another one. So again, 41 million people were facing starvation. And there was huge lines at various food banks because people needed to get as much as they could. So yeah, there were definitely people going through outrageous suffering. New York was declaring an emergency. It also happened in California. They were allocating $65 million in state funds for emergency food assistance. Then we had this headline show up on the New York Post. They don't give a, you know, which is pretty funny, ironic headline. So anyway, yeah, lots of things like that on the horizon where we're seeing how, you know, this was a very scary event, and I definitely spent some time being very worried about it, going through deep anxiety about it, not knowing what was going to happen. And send food to David, says Linda Kiesling. That's right, donate so David has food money. That definitely helps. So Massachusetts has $8 billion in the rainy day fund, refused to spend $240 million to fund mass SNAP users in November, but they spent $900 million on something else in 2024. Woo, wow. So yeah, we're good, and I don't think we're going to have much more of a problem anymore with this particular issue. It looks like the whole problem has been solved, but man, was it scary going right up to the end. I did not know what was going to happen. And sure enough, it became yet another one of these things where I was worried about doom and gloom. It was keeping me up at night. You know, I've still had insomnia issues regularly. And then suddenly it's like, nope, it actually works out and everything's going to be okay. Oh, I just had a really big glitch there. Sorry about the glitching. I guess it's just a function of the internet of today and what's happening with our stream. So then here was the big headline where it all got worked around. The judge ordering them to use emergency funds for assistance, completely taking the pressure off of Congress. Oh, snap, it says. So once again, at the last minute, everything was okay. So I like to dig beneath the surface, and this next post from this particular source, the General, was very, very provocative. And it says that the House Oversight Chair says that the DOJ now has the authority to declare all of these things no longer there, and they can launch these operations across this entire platform. Oh my gosh. So again, that's a very, very significant thing that we just looked at. That's the same term that you've heard me use for so many years, that it would happen in a massive level and that it would be across a wide spectrum. So isn't it funny? You got Melissa, you got this hurricane, you got the particular landfall, tragic events taking place. You've got this really, really scary showdown that I don't think the Alliance wanted people to be hungry, by the way. I certainly don't believe that. And it got resolved in a very interesting way while giving people information, showing them that there are problems in our society, that people are not willing to make compromises, and that they're willing to take these levels of risks. And that just really changes a lot. You know, it changes the game. It opens up a whole bunch of doors that weren't open before. And it really, really gets you thinking about, okay, what's the big deal? What's really happening in the world? And how do we redefine our own feelings of safety? How do we get back to a place that feels comfortable? What is it going to take for us to feel safe? You know, and that's a big question that we all need to be asking. So Paul Harding just donated $20. Thank you very much. He says, we love you, David. Thank you. Are these other arrests going to happen in the near future? It appears to be so. It could be. So yeah, I don't really know exactly where this is going to happen or when this is going to happen. We certainly were given the year 2025 as a focal point. Obviously, not all the events were going to happen in 2025, but right now, I mean, we are seeing very, very big events taking place. And so I do believe that the prophetic source I got was in general correct, 2025 being a big tipping point year, a year where when you go back in time and you look at it, you're like, yeah, this is when the big change really started. This is when all the big stuff really started. How long is it going to take? I don't know. 3i Atlas is supposed to be coming in next spring. That could be a big disclosure event. It could lead to a whole bunch of things happening that we haven't already expected to see. But we just got to take it one day at a time. Definitely store some food. We love you, David. Joe Colomedici says, yes, 2025 was a catalyst, the year of my awakening. So, you know, lots of good stuff going on, and you got to focus on the positive, because if you stay drowned in the negative, it's just very, very destructive. So again, wow, all of these things were declared null and void, and now this operation can be launched across the full spectrum. And then this also just happened on the anniversary date. I guess it would be what, the 7-year anniversary now or something like that, 8-year anniversary. He draws this letter in the air with his finger, and I got to be very careful I don't say anything else. But there you go. That was the day that it all started back in 2017. And if you watch the video, you can see it very clearly that he's doing that. So again, you know, this is something that many people don't want to talk about because it's so controversial, whatever. I get that. I've not been afraid to talk about it. I've been brave enough to bring it to your attention on many occasions. And, you know, that's to my credit that I've been willing to do that, because, again, my goal is ultimately for you to not be afraid. And so when these kinds of communications are occurring, to me, it's confidence building, because it says, hey, you know, we're really not in as much danger as we think. And so if you're spending all your time being afraid, if you're spending all your time being scared, you're not really getting the point that there is something going on here. And I believe that they want the best for us, and I believe that the Alliance is doing what they can to make this positive. Cosmic Nirvana says, thank you for always showing up and guiding us through this experience. Much respect. That's right. Tomorrow is 11/3, says Tom McWhorter. Like 3i Atlas, you know, the 3i, you know, I get that. Some food banks give out old, moldy or rotting food, or food that has lots of chemicals in it. Well, you do the best you can, I guess. We watched him do that to the troops here in Japan as well, says Anna Nishida. Okay, so it's a thing. It's happening. And, you know, totally fascinates me that this is still going on. And let's not forget, way back, you know, seems like a long time ago now, August 30th, this was actually posted. And this is one of the things the Shadow was talking about. The image was shared with the comments about the world being able to understand, and about that whatever is happening is not going to be stopped. And then even look in his left hand, you see that there's that letter there. That is just stunning. So, you know, really, really, why would that have been done if he wasn't actually trying to tell you that there's something there, that there's, where there's smoke, there's fire, you know? It's incredibly provocative. It's incredibly interesting, to say the least. So Jim Van Nest says, thank you so much, David. Miles Irvin says, I just got here and I will need to catch up by replay. I hope all is well. Yeah, well, we're doing fine. So again, you know, some people really have a hard time with the whole thing, and I certainly have that in my family. You know, it's not like I'm going to get a lot of support for this. But at the same time, I'd say, you know, wouldn't it be nice if there was a good way to look at this instead of it being a bad thing? And I think that there is. So, you know, we just want to keep a positive focus. We don't want to be drowning in negativity. We want to try to live our lives with confidence and know that this is all heading in the right direction. Please leave it up so there's longer to read it. Okay. It says right here, these statements, and those statements are very much associated with what we saw in the past. And then here again is the whole image. So I don't know why. There we go. That's the image from the beginning if you wanted to see the whole thing. And again, so he's got the world behind him and there's fire around it. And then, so you get to see that. So then it's interesting because Gavin, the governor of California, actually did a trolled version of it. And he actually put out the same statements. So this is clearly showing how they're like heckling each other. And again, he gave out the same words. So, you know, does it mean that everything is good? Well, not necessarily. I mean, you know, there's different ways to look at what's going on, and everybody has their own opinion about what they're seeing. But isn't it interesting that this is happening? And it was also, interestingly enough, mirrored by Special Envoy to Russia. He also ended up doing the same thing and reposted it right there. This is Kirill Dmitriev, that's his name. And it says that he reposted this. He was appointed in February to promote foreign investment and economic ties with the United States. So that's very, very weird, isn't it? Like the fact that he would have done that and included that in his own post is actually quite shocking. And Teresa Dastrup says, David, we love you. We've missed you. It's so good to have you back. Wade Woodruff says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Are you still moving to Arizona? Says Charlie Winter. I will be there too. Remember, the 5th of November, says FLA Patriot. So yeah, these are very curious phenomena. And it does appear, actually, now that I'm watching this buffering, that when I put up still images, it now is intelligently throttling itself down. But I just want to be clear, you guys are not seeing any glitches, right? Everything seems to be happening pretty well here, in a pretty good framework. You're not getting any problems with the stream. It looks fine to me on the screen as I look at it, so that's great. Anyway, yeah, so here again is the Kirill Dmitriev thing, and he's a high-ranking member over there, so like, wow, is there some type of insider knowledge going on that they're demonstrating here? It sure looks like it, doesn't it? It sure looks like it. That's about all I can say. It's certainly very provocative, and we know that this is actually all a projection of something that is what we call the Alliance, which I was briefed about all the way back in 2009, and I've been covering this material online ever since that time. The posts, of course, didn't appear until that date of the 28th, and that's when it all got started. And understanding all of this can help you to alleviate fear, because as these events play out, they can seem very scary, almost impossible, extremely threatening, very difficult. Everybody says it looks good, no problems, no glitches. Okay, so I think that what will happen is that when I update my software, that it will then not show the green icon turning red, because the redness is obviously a function of the down throttling of bandwidth, and then it throttles back up when I go back on the screen here. But, you know, it's all actually working out really well. And, you know, we got to clarify that. So your camera angles look crisp and calibrated, but your ads are glitching. I have to refresh the stream. All right. So you taught us that our upstairs family is here assisting and helping us on Earth. They probably offset the damage from Melissa. Why did you stress out? Well, I stress out because, you know, I'm a human being and I'm living in the real world, and it's like, you know, very, very interesting and fascinating to see why these things keep happening, and you know, what is the ultimate agenda here, you know? You know, I try to take it in stride and figure out, like, okay, what are we going to do when all these things take place, and how do we get to that next level, and what is the next level, you know? It's a great stream. That's what people are saying. Get YouTube Premium. All right. So there may be a positive outcome that most of us are not seeing, and I do believe the Alliance is working to heal our world, but there's a great deal of confusion as we head towards this. So everything we are seeing is fitting in with what I was told, and this includes the fact that we are now seeing deployments in multiple cities, and it's even going to spread beyond that. And again, this would normally terrify most people, If you look here, Washington, D.C., 2,400. Los Angeles, 1,800. Memphis has 650. Chicago has 450. This is pretty freaking shocking. So, you know, it's all coming to a head. It's all coming to fruition. And what does it really mean? Well, you can see here that, what is he saying? According to Grok and ChatGPT, there are thousands of them and hundreds in these other places. He is prepared for something. And then we find out that it's now actually spreading throughout all of the different states, which is even more kind of shocking and outrageous. Quick reaction force of 500 per state. A total of 23,500 trained in these various things that can be ready to deploy by early next year. By early next year. And orders from the Guard, nearly every U.S. state, Puerto Rico and Guam. States with smaller populations, such as Delaware, will only have 250. Alaska, 350. Guam will have 100. Well, still, that's quietly ordered this, that 500 per state, and it's all this stuff about worrying about disturbance. So he's preparing for a widespread public backlash. Something big is coming. So sure enough, right as we head out of the year 2025, we are definitely getting very close to some sort of very big, very surprising change that I think is going to shock everybody. Okay, we're not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, and it now is saying the video quality is poor. Let's hope that we can upgrade it. I'll just have to stay on camera here for a minute. But no, I don't know if the benefits are going to end. I mean, it could be a variety of different things, but the point is we're doing the best we can here, and we're trying to be positive about the future. Let's try to look at this as a possible thing where it's going to lead to humanity's liberation and not just doom and gloom. But I get it. It's scary. And so by letting you know what's going on and telling you that I think it's going to be all right, you know, we're trying to alleviate fear and not leave you in the lurch feeling bad. Okay, so you guys are saying it's okay. We're not going to open an error widget or anything like that. We're just going to keep it going. So you're as clear as day to me, David. You look fine. Everything looks good. That's what people are saying. Yeah, but we are. It's really frustrating how this has happened. And once again, going back to this slide before, that they're getting ready to launch this all across. That could be the source of what we're really seeing here. So now we're going to talk about the 3I a little more. And you know, is that the positioned big distraction? In other words, we saw the hurricane. That could be part of it. But what about the actual spaceship itself? Kwan Hong Chan says it's 4:39 a.m. where I am. This is as far as I can go. Enjoy the rest of your live stream. Midnight Mark is saying, we all care about you, Wilcock, even your detractors. Trust me. Well, thank you. So no fear, just be prepared. 2 hours later, he finally gets to the topic. No, the topic is harmony in the midst of chaos. And I'm trying to give you an overview of, you know, how to feel more relaxed by understanding the milieu that we're in and not just tuning it all out and saying, oh my God, I can't handle this, I can't deal with this. But we're going to try to do something good. But again, it still looks okay over here. So we're just trying to do the best we can. They're calling it a Trojan horse, folks. And so this is one of the images that's been out there about what it might actually be. You've probably all seen that one. Anyway, it's an exciting time to be alive, isn't it? Having a spaceship coming into our solar system and all these interesting things going on around that. Alex Murray says, my faith in the infinite's plan is too strong to think that this will not end well. I know that it will. And stop spazzing on glitches, says Kiss the Sky. The chat is being, well, I don't want to say that. The top view of a ship moving through water, the same plane of water that we are on, says Aeon Fibonacci. 3I Atlas appears every 26,000 years, says Anna Nishida. Are you the soul of Edgar Cayce? Well, I definitely seem to have a connection to him. I did just see a glitch there. Anyway, we're trusting the plan. That's right. That's what we're doing. I'm really sorry about the glitches, folks, but you know, we keep it going. This whole issue with the 3i has now reached maximum saturation. It's something that is all over the media. It's being talked about in so many different places. CNN, Joe Rogan, all the top cable channels and even the network channels, they all seem to be running with this story, and that's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before, and it really, really makes me think that, like, okay, yeah, we're definitely, this fits in with stuff that I heard about for so long. And a lot of the messages are actually fear-oriented. There's a fear and doom component to what we're hearing and what we're seeing. And, you know, that's not here today. She donated $20. Oh, it just went totally black. Whoa. Okay, so that was a big glitch, but let's hope that it can do better now. That's the first time that I actually saw the screen go dark on my screen. Another hiccup. So, you know, they've built a lot of things over there at the G place that we were talking about before. He says there was only 15 people that are held there right now. I just looked it up. It says Kenneth Barney Castle. It's definitely going to be intense as this goes on. But anyway, I'm not sure why I can't change the latency. But we're just going to keep on going as much as we can. Glitchy YouTube, see how high she flies. Woo-hoo, glitchy YouTube, see how high she flies. That's what he was saying. Well, not every show is perfect. You know, we do the best we can here. And I'm just bringing you guys as much positivity as I can within reason of what we've got. So, anyway, yeah, the messages are focusing on fear and doom. That's one of the things that we keep seeing. And that's a very consistent thread. And so the fear has to be built up over time. This is another funny thing. When you're designing fear, you have to build it up over time. It's a dance that requires multiple cues to produce, where you end up saying, oh my God, what was that? And there's like a bump in the room and there's some kind of noise, or, oh, now we're getting more glitches. So anyway, yeah, the fear builds up over time. It's not something they do right away. They got to kind of layer it in for you. David, I don't know if you will see this because you're so busy, says Scott Monson. You should feel comfort as Jesus and the whole of the universe is supporting you. Have faith and confidence. We're doing the best we can. The glitches are minuscule, says X-Ray Mind. Well, it's definitely now consistently showing me that we have a poor connection. If I hit the open widget thing, it's probably going to knock me off the air or something, so I don't really want to do that. But we're just going to try to keep on going. We still have 3,950 concurrent viewers, and so life is good. You know, life is good. So the dance of fear requires multiple cues to produce. There's a bump in the room. You say, oh my God, what was that? Did you hear that noise? I thought I might have seen something. And so this 3i Atlas story, it's like they just keep hitting you with it. And remember, there's been so many alien invasion movies. It's as if they're trying to build up something really big, something really scary. David, I missed you the last few weeks. I'm glad you're back. I'd noticed that you were on. I have to go back now and watch what I missed. But thank you for being here. And I'm glad that you were able to show up. So we're hovering around 4,000. So yeah, 3i Atlas, man, it's so in your face. And again, I don't ever believe that things are done randomly by these people. This is not a random event. This is not something that they're doing just for fun. This is a deliberately planted body of information. It's intentional, and it's doing this because of an agenda. And that's, again, what Wernher von Braun on his deathbed was saying, that when they run out of options, they've got no other options, they're going to go with the fake alien invasion. And so to me, that's what this most likely is. And it may actually, I mean, wouldn't it be crazy if somebody on the secret space program side actually built something, if there is an asset, if this actually turns out to be something that can be photographed and it looks like a machine? That could actually happen. As crazy as it sounds, that may be where this is going. We may actually see a machine. We may actually see photographs of it. NASA is supposedly withholding the photographs. There's this whole big intrigue around that. And so, you know, do we really know where this is going? No. But again, on his deathbed, von Braun was all talking about this to his secretary, Dr. Carol Rosen. That was going to be the final card they would play. And it all, again, also ties back into the classic Project Bluebeam, the idea that they could make holograms in the sky and do it that way. But even more exciting than a hologram is this actual physical asset that's flying through the air that causes these wild upheavals to occur when people realize what it is and they get pictures of it. I mean, it's going to, you know, and they're always promoting it's a Trojan horse, it's going to collapse the economy. There's all these kinds of things that we see in the media. And it, again, is about creating as much distraction as possible. And so, yeah, there again, my stream is getting very poor. So maybe it's also the content. Who knows? So this is all, again, hovering around Dr. Avi Loeb, who's constantly promoting this. And so, for example, what I have here is from Insider Paper. Let's see if I can get away with putting that up for a minute. And it says that a Manhattan-sized interstellar object zipping through the solar system could be an ET Trojan horse, whose presence has major implications for, quote-unquote, humanity. So, yeah, Trojan horse sounds like, you know, that's what happened when the Trojans invaded Greece, I believe. They had all their soldiers in there. So some people have speculated that it's going to be filled with Draco-reptilians or something like this. That's setting the narrative. That's setting the framework of, oh, this is what it's going to be. And it's all good. Perception is reality. Stay positive. Receive grace in the divine original DNA blueprint. Says Boo Boo, we are sovereign. No fear. Stay positive and focused in heaven on earth. Tony Koresh, yes, David, I have. I told so many people about it. So many think it's outlandish. There's no logical sense. With guidance and add your knowledge to the equation, David, people will learn. That's right. So, whoops. Anyway, maybe if I talk too fast, the stream is going to glitch. I just talked a little bit fast, and it looked like it was glitching. Atlas feels like a citadel, says Charlie Winner. So, yeah, it's interesting. Monica Kanagowski, I wish we all just feel better. Everyone going through this shift all over the close shift in consciousness and solar flash. You should lay in bed with 10 days of preparedness food. Yes, I agree. Have as much on hand as you can. Sorry about the glitching. It's happening again. NASA is being goofy. I think it's unplanned. We are all in this together. Nobody gets out of this one. Keep holding the love frequency. Thank you, David, for this show. Love you to everyone here today. God bless, says Lynn Havili. Thank you, Lynn. So then we had this next slide. Oh, right, Beverly Adams. Check out what Reagan said in his departing speech about alien invasion, that it would be this unifying force that brings us all together. So there's these 8 different statistical anomalies that Dr. Avi Loeb has talked about, and we'll get more into that next week. Whoops, we're getting glitchy again. Sorry if you guys are... Tell me if you're having glitches over there. Is it getting worse? If you guys can tell me. Oh, Boo Boo says no glitching over here. That's good. We got this. You got this, David. It isn't your first rodeo. Are we still going to have 3 days of darkness? Some people have it glitchy. Some people don't. The glitching is not happening on this end. It's distraction the entire time so far. Yep. Well, it's definitely happening to me. So I'm getting it coming in on my side in the way that I'm seeing it. Okay, you guys say no glitching. Here and there, but no big deal. Small buffers here and there. All right. Minor glitches, minor glitches. Some people have it, some people don't. The only glitch is you stopping all the time, says Miss Marquise. All right, well, so there's 8 statistical anomalies that push this to a rank of 4 out of 10 on Avi Loeb's own scale for potential technological origin. So without putting the slide up, I'll just read what those are. The orbit is aligned with the ecliptic. That's a 0.2% probability. It has he also talked about, so, you know, the ecliptic is the center of the solar don't have, and then that kind of changed as it was moving, but that was a very interesting one too. And boy, I am definitely getting some buffering. More glitching, but it's still okay. All right, I just probably have to talk more slowly. So it's aligned with the ecliptic. It has a sunward-facing jet, unlike a normal comet. It has a mass of 1 million times more than the other interplanetary object, Oumuamua. So it's actually like 33 miles in length, like the size of Manhattan, which definitely is big enough for a mothership. It's definitely big enough for, again, a city the size of Manhattan, New York, of course, right in near the planets to 0.005%. It has a nickel-rich plume of gas with iron not so much, with an iron-poor composition. And the nickel is one of the things he keeps talking about that could make it similar to, some type of exotic object. Because so we also have only 4% of it is water by mass. That's unusual. It's usually comets have a lot more water. This one doesn't seem to have as much. Extreme negative polarization, never seen before. And then it arrived from the direction of the WOW signal, 0.6%. Add those up together, and you've got 1 in 10 quadrillion odds against it being just a natural object, but it appears to be something artificial. So that's really, really interesting. The stamps have still not been issued, says Kenneth Barneycastle. It was the work of them. NASA would continue to show the images. It's a positive frequency setter. Okay, so we've still got some... you guys don't want me to keep talking about that. And this is another one from the general that I have a slide for, and it just came back again. That it has signs of an very interesting what's going on here, and what does it mean for us? The Manhattan-sized object, the strange tail, what does it all mean? And so here's another one that I found. This one was from Shadow, source that we've read many times, saying Israeli Harvard professor Avi Loeb is warning everyone to take their vacations before October 29th, saying the arrival of the Manhattan-sized interstellar object 3I Atlas could change everything. Well, thankfully, we're still here after the 29th. He believes it could be an alien spacecraft and claims NASA isn't telling the full truth. Experts insist it is nothing more than an interstellar comet. And so there's that slide if we want to put it up there real fast, but it does seem to destabilize things when I do this, unfortunately. So then it says here, this is another one from one of these weird sites that's on X that, could be probably from the IC, would be my guess. He warns that if it changes its course toward Earth after swinging past our sun, it could trigger a global stock market crash. Shockwaves felt across our entire civilization, describing it as a blind date with a cosmic visitor. We have no idea who or what might be in control of this massive and possibly technological object. So there again is narrative framing, right? It's framing the narrative that this could be some type of very dangerous situation, that it's not what we think it is, that it's actually, could cause a stock market crash, that it's, I'm not sure why this is happening, okay, but it's just funny that he keeps putting out these messages, and that the messages involve fear, and the messages involve us being scared, and so forth. New Mexico has announced that their state will cover SNAP benefits through 11/20/25. That's great. It's funny that David's show is called Harmony in the Midst of Chaos, and he's getting hacked or attacked by glitchy itchies. All the buffering is on your end because it is still live. That's right. So it wants to be seen or it wouldn't show itself. That's funny. So anyway, what I think is going on here is that they're setting us up for some type of event. Now, is it even going to be this? No, it may be something else. It may turn out that if they need to pull the plug on, that's what I was told by my insiders. They'll set something like this up, but if they need to pull the plug on it, they will. Then they'll say, no, it's just a comet, it's nothing that bad. But if they want to, create certain types of distractions, certain types of fear, Valeria Negrito says, hi, David, attempts to communicate being difficult even now with the super chat. I humbly and wholeheartedly request your sage advice. A matter of utmost importance. May I email you? Thank you and many blessings. Yes, go to divinecosmos.com and you can get to me through there. 3i Atlas is being used by all with an agenda, some good, some bad. Be brave and love one another, says Scott Monson. Emily Howard, there's a difference between being sacred and prepared. I just don't want to be thirsty. Okay, so so much abuse of Snap, it's insane, says Martha Craybill. You know, this is a very interesting situation. The blind date with the cosmic visitor triggering a global stock market crash. Why are they setting up all these narratives? It's very interesting. And then here's another one. His doomsday math that the sun will destroy the Earth in 7.6 billion years, so we have to build a space ark right now. Normally, if something's 7.6 billion years away, it might be a little premature to spend a bunch of money worrying about something 7.6 billion years in the future. But again, it's interesting because there's another example of fear. It says, Earth gets swallowed by the sun in 7.6 billion years. He's dropping cosmic reality. The moon crashes back. Nothing survives. Forget Mars. Build rotating space platforms with artificial gravity instead. He said, we're spending $2.4 trillion a year on military budgets. Redirect a fraction of it towards a Noah-style ark in space. Within this century, we'll create habitats better than Mars. We need a cosmic life raft. Well, again, if it's 7.6 billion years away, probably not the biggest initiative that we have to do right away, spend all our money just doing that. But that's funny because, again, it's consistent with this messaging. There's this messaging that keeps coming out that I find is kind of funny to see that. Here's another example where they're talking about him on Joe Rogan. The sun dancing emission is elongated. There's no cometary tail. NASA's HiRISE captured an image of it on October 2nd near Mars, and they never released it. He requested the data from NASA, and they did not respond. Watch this and decide for yourself. This was $Atlas CTO on X. So there's a very consistent theme. That's my point that I keep making here. The acid test of 3i Atlas, October 29th, 2025. The solar system is holding its breath. Atlas reaches its perihelion, closest point to the sun, 203 million kilometers. Natural bodies are staying passive and engineered ones will act. Well, that date kind of came and went. We didn't get a whole lot of excitement off of that. James Harris, they want you very afraid. Ashtara, false evidence appearing real equals fear. Totally agree. I think many of us have already moved into 5D. There are so many Mandela effects. In 7.6 billion years, we will be so technically advanced. Why worry about it now? We can move the Earth if we need to. Say it, David, or wink or something. I can't accept the line that, oh, never mind, I don't care. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I called 2 NASA headquarters, left them a crazy good voicemail for them to show the images and not cover it up. I called them out about government disclosure. That's Monica Kanagowski. David, really stop buying into this bullpoop. I'm not buying into it. I'm trying to talk about something that we're all seeing. We're all getting these messages being sent to us in the media, and I'm analyzing why that might be happening. That's where we're at right now. So here's another one. Why did Haim Mashed, who led Israel's space program for 30 years, claim that ETs exist and that 47 is aware of this? So that's something that they're all of a sudden bringing that story back. And we covered that story years ago. And now it's all coming back again. So here's another one from Surajit where it says, Avi Loeb identifies 3i Atlas as a prime example of why humanity must take interstellar objects seriously. Unexplained propulsion-like movement implies advanced engineering hinting at artificial origin. He estimates its mass to be 33 billion tons and questions whether it could have formed naturally. He's calling for an immediate international coordination to monitor the anomaly. In his view, planets without atmospheres like Mars and the Moon could be hosting ancient technological debris from past civilizations preserved perfectly on their surfaces for millions or even billions of years, yes, on Mars. So it's this interesting disclosure that's being laid out for us that he is now kind of at the helm of, and a lot of stuff that I've been talking about in the past is kind of coming around again, full circle, with him being at the helm of it. And I find that, again, really, really fascinating, that they're allowing him to chaperone this whole process and bringing it out to us in this fascinating way. Definitely a very interesting thing that we're seeing to have all this happening. And, what does it all mean? It's definitely a very provocative moment in our history. And I believe that this is all, again, leading up to maybe some type of staged event that could be extremely provocative. And again, the world will change completely. When this happens, if this happens, when we get to see the images, we don't know where it's going, but it could be very, very powerful, very intense stuff. Game-changing events for humanity like nothing we've ever seen before. And that's something that, don't buy into the fear, don't buy into the negativity, because we have been assured that the Alliance is on top of it, the higher beings are on top of it. It's not going to be something bad. Bait Madad says, David, in Islam, people like you are the true warriors of God, defenders of truth. You're the closest thing to a prophet. Thank you for all these years of trying to enlighten us. I appreciate that. 3i, tell me what's happening. She alone is the one trying to give me what I need, says John Patrick. Yes, 5th of November is the anniversary. We're going to need Jesus to remove stains of fear after this live, David. No, I don't think that's true. I mean, well, yeah, you do need Jesus, and you want to have that. But I mean, I'm encouraging you not to be afraid. I'm encouraging you to see that if there is some kind of event being staged or set up, that you want to have confidence that this is not going in a negative direction. Because the negativity doesn't serve anybody, and we don't want to dwell in that. So we want to stay focused and positive as much as we can. That's very, very important. Okay. And then here's a headline from Zero Hedge that actually says that he's accusing NASA directly of a cover-up about this mysterious object. So, that's a typical kind of thing you would expect, where they're making it look like there's forces in opposition, that he's the maverick and he's out there, trying to fight for you and for your freedom, and then the institutions are trying to block it, and they don't want his fight to be realized. It could all be like, again, WrestleMania, kayfabe, where in fact there's a greater agenda here. This is being promoted so much that I really do think it's going to produce more than we anticipate. I don't expect that it's just going to go away. Clown Show says, be careful about stagecraft. If we have to have another scamdemic, we will. Ray Briggs, if there are any arrests, it won't be public, which means the system will remain exactly the same. I don't actually believe that at all. Why name it Atlas? Charlie Winter says with a $20 donation. Thank you very much. Does this suggest we take a closer look in our own solar neighborhood? Is it another nod to disclose that we are not alone? Yes, I do believe that's part of it. So I trust anyone who gets repeatedly invited on mainstream media. That's funny. That's really funny. All right, so then we have another one here where he's warning that alien technology could be hiding in plain sight. This is from Mario on X. He just dropped a bombshell on Joe Rogan. We're scanning Mars for anomalies, right-angled structures, geometric patterns. We're not ready for what we might find. The real threat, here it comes, okay? The real threat is intelligent alien objects following unpredictable paths that we cannot anticipate. This is a direct quote now from Avi Loeb. Alien technology won't follow a path you expect. If it has intelligence, that is a risk that we never attend to. So he's setting up the disclosure of the face on Mars. He's setting up the disclosure of the pyramids on Mars, that kind of stuff. But then he's also saying that, like, if there's an object here that's steering on its own, we should be afraid of it because we don't really know what it is or who's driving it or what their agenda is. And again, it's all this fear. So Earth gets hit by meter-sized asteroids constantly. Congress has tasked NASA to spot rocks the size of football fields. But interstellar objects like Oumuamua and 3i Atlas, that's a different game. Loeb wrote a white paper to the UN, the IAU, International Astronomical Union, to develop a monitoring strategy now before we get blindsided. And so, yes, this stuff keeps on repeating over and over again in the media. And it's very, very interesting where this is all going. There is one Atlas, and it belongs to the Pleiadians, whose fleet is in orbit, by the way. Multiple Earths exist now because the now moment is all that exists. The splitting of various realities has been occurring. For a while, we were able to see and view these different realities. Monica Kanagowski, the ship is brightening significantly because it was siphoning energy from the sun and holding it to attract attention. It's brightening because it shows more anomalies as a technique to help us with our disclosure. Let us know when the potatoes are ready, please. That's funny. Where is Jesus? He is here inside you. Find him. Absolutely. Aliens are just coming here for the weed, says John Christopher Latvenas. That's funny, too. Atlas was the telescope 3i was found with. I get that. And then 47 was talking about November 5th being the anniversary of the great election to save this country. He was pointing out that very same post about that same date. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. So, look, this is all definitely building up to a head. And the Atlas thing I find, again, incredibly fascinating. We're not really sure where it's all going, but it's definitely going to be a fascinating thing to get there. And we're doing it one step at a time. So now I'm going to go back to the Israeli space official story where they said, again, Haim Mashed. So let's read through this. He says that the ETs are already here and that they're hiding until we're ready. This was back in 2020 that this first came out. Aliens exist, and 47 knows about it. Says the former head of their space program, they had to intervene to prevent him from blurting out their existence. That he was on the verge of confirming it, and they had to stop that from happening. So here we go. The former head of their space program has claimed that the U.S. and their government is in touch with aliens, and there is a galactic federation already in existence. He ran their program for nearly 30 years. He said, we aren't ready to make contact with this civilization yet, and that they had to intervene to prevent him from blurting out the secrets. Wow. The 87-year-old made comments to the Israeli newspaper Yediot Aharonot ahead of the publication of a new book, which actually never got to be released. It got intercepted, entitled The Universe Beyond the Horizon, which was set to deal with his claims about the existence of ET intelligence. So again, that never actually came out. Never actually happened. They have asked not to announce that they are here yet because we are not ready, he told the publication. They have been waiting for us to evolve and reach a stage where we will generally understand what space and spaceships are, which I guess is something very different than we think. I mean, there's a component of them that is alive. There's an agreement between the U.S. government and these extraterrestrials. They signed a contract with us in order to be able to do experiments here. Man. He explained that the aliens have a base on Mars. That's what's coming up with Loeb again. He was on the verge of revealing their existence, but the people in the Federation are saying, wait, let people calm down first. So then we also saw the VP telegraphing disclosure. This was another one that came out from Shadow, where it says right here, he isn't sure whether the UFOs and aliens are truly beings from another planet or something far more supernatural, possibly angels or demons. He believes mysterious forces exist that no one can fully explain. And then we see here, interstellar invader comet is continuing to surprise scientists, this time by brightening at an unexpectedly rapid pace as it makes its closest approach to the sun. And the experts studying the object don't yet know why that happened. So there's an anomalous brightening going on. That's part of what we're seeing. And at the same time, we have him accusing NASA of a cover-up. We already saw that one before. And then there's a dimming that also happened as well, which is kind of funny that it seems like it's both. So this is Michio Kaku. He says, 3i Atlas should have exploded with the massive heat if it was a comet made of rock and ice, but it didn't. It actually went 40% dimmer and absorbed and stored enough energy to power the entire United States for 12 minutes. So is that really what happened? I don't know. But then we have Brian Cox, Dr. Brian Cox, who's a professor, and he's out there, you know, as a very famous scientist right now. Just to be clear, given recent drivel online, Comet 3i Atlas is a comet made of carbon dioxide, water ice, and bits of other stuff entirely natural in origin. Its orbit is as expected, and it will whiz around the sun and then disappear off into the galaxy again. If it ever encounters another, inhabited solar system in the far future, I hope the living things there are more sensible than us and enjoy it for what it is, a visitor from elsewhere in the galaxy, a pristine lump of rock and ices that formed around a distant, maybe long dead star billions of years ago and many light years away, just passing through. Isn't that wonderful enough? Well, there you have it. That's the credit. You know, he's one of the people who's trying to say that this is not as much of a situation as they're trying to hype it up to be. And it's all good, man. Tralalescu Mercescu says, we missed you, David. Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm glad to be here. And the Sunflower Life just donated $333.33 Canadian. That's incredible. And if I cut over here, we're probably going to, just to show you that, we're going to get some buffering again. But it says, God enters our human experience only when we learn to conform to the spiritual laws of life. Thank you for your continued service to humanity, Master David. You matter. Well, I really, really appreciate that donation. That is an incredible donation. Thank you very much. Nobody Special said there was no buffering as I listened from behind at 1.5 speed to catch up. However, now that I'm caught up and listening live at normal speed, there is a lot of buffering. Well, again, people don't want me to talk about that. I'm sorry that we're getting it. And thank you guys. You're hitting the heart button, and I get all these hearts popping up. That's pretty cool, too. We got 344 likes, 4,033 concurrent viewers. So it's a great turnout today. Thank you guys for being here. Good news, the most wanted queen of the narco business has been captured. I didn't hear that. Okay, that is good news. Chinese lantern, swamp gas, comets with ice, LOL. You see where I'm going with this? This is Monica Kanagowski. So again, what do I think is really happening here? I think that this is another example of a buildup to something that could become a very big deal that gets thrown in our faces and do it based upon how these events unfold. But we're seeing this buildup in all 50 states. I just went totally off. That it's delayed, but yep, okay. Sorry about that. I just had, did you guys see one? Did it just go off completely? Because on my screen, it went totally black for a period of time. So anyway, life is good. And if you had a bit of a glitch, but you're still here. All right. No, some people are not getting a glitch. Same thing is happening on the streams of this person, Michael, and his last name is Savage. No black screen. You're fine here in Arizona. No glitch, just a little glitch. Time to grab a coffee, says Anna Nishita. 6:17 a.m. where she is. Wow. Ads pop up. That's what I'm getting here. David, I've never had one glitch, says Laura. Yes, it's a glitch, but it was okay again now. Everything is good. All right. Ismail is right on. So when will you start to write a new book, says Lana Case. David, are you feeling all right? You sound sad or tired. You can talk with us a while about your feelings and share what you feel. It does sadden me that the buffering is happening. It's either David Wilcock or beer and football on Sunday, so please be here next week too. Well, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going for you. And sorry about the glitches. Somebody says he's out. So the Alliance is also going to have to use scare events too. That's another thing that we're seeing. The scare events are a necessary part of prepping us for disclosure because, again, we have to be brought to the precipice to change. So this is a big law of one principle, that we get brought down to our knees. We're brought down by negative experiences. We have unpleasant things happening. And as a result of that, we are forced to face the self. The facing of the self being a very, very important part of the teachings of the law of one material, which again is my philosophical basis that I've spent so much time delving into. So we really want to try to be as kind to ourselves right now as possible. And so I encourage you to try to focus on as much positivity as you can in your life, and don't get bogged down by these things that are meant to scare you and threaten you. I know that it's been difficult, but the positive always seems to work out. The negative clusters around you, it seems very difficult. It seems overwhelming. It seems beyond repair. The food stamp thing was so terrifying. The hurricane thing was so terrifying. And yet at the last minute, it just kind of works out. And refresh, if it buffers, it's not that bad, somebody says. I am Jennifer. I agree with this. She says, 3i Atlas is a worry spell. Don't let it affect you. Worrying hurts your energy field. Control your thoughts with 3i Atlas and with the fleet are metaterrestrials, 7th dimensional beings, much higher in density, probably coming from higher light fields like 10th dimension. Well, that's a very interesting and different viewpoint. Wild Honey, 1971, if you feed something your energy, you'll get more of what you feed. Believe in all good and love and send love, love, love to the negative and it will get even more. I would agree with that. Axis Monday says, look up The Law of the Sun. It's a book and a movie by Ryuho Okawa, exploring universal spiritual laws, the nature of the soul, and how to achieve happiness. He used automatic writing to get it. Interesting. So he said, Abri Lontal says, everything's working perfectly in Florida. So yeah, there's preparations definitely being made for major future disruptions. So this is another slide I really want to get to. Hopefully it won't glitch too much. Senior appointees, including Stephen, Marco, Christie, and others, have relocated their homes to various bases for safety. Whoa. Now that's pretty intense, huh? That's another one of these things, you look at it and you're like, dang. Very, very provocative stuff, suggesting that they are anticipating some very, very disruptive events in the future that we haven't already seen. You know, it could have been about the benefits thing, but that looks like it's been solved. Roger Zabarik says, thank you for today's teachings. Donated $20. Thank you very much. David, you are looking very sizzly. Angry Daddy said, David! There is so much predictive programming going on right now. I agree with that completely. It's all happening in sci-fi, and I love sci-fi. Pay close attention to the Yellow Jacket omen, David, says Midnight Mark. The Yellow Jacket brings a powerful message. Preparation H for future disruption. David, can you talk about that experiment at some point? The one when you drop a 10-pound weight, the mass doesn't all come back at once. Provided this by weighing it if you have enough time. Well, it's kind of wildly off topic, but yes, so matter and mass are different than what we think, because when Dr. Nikolai Kozyrev dropped a cannonball on his basement floor, it actually lost weight. The weight was reduced, and it took a series of increments of time over the course of 20 minutes for it to come back. The weight would come back in even intervals over the course of 20 minutes. And so this fundamentally gets into what mass really is, what matter really is, and it's a fascinating discussion that we kind of totally off topic of what we're talking about. But anyway, thank you for that question. The idea, again, that we're not as solid as we think we are, and there's some essence within atoms and molecules that can be moved out, can be displaced from the atoms and molecules outside of them and cause, anti-gravity ultimately to happen. If you can play around with that missing mass well enough, you can actually switch off your gravitational weight completely, and the object will then be seen to disappear. So UFOs, all that stuff is very interesting. But again, the topic that we're on right now is senior U.S. officials being relocated to U.S. military bases for their safety. And again, that's being kept very, very quiet. So not trying to get you to be afraid, but I just want to be aware that these things are happening. They are very curious things. We don't really know why all of this is happening, but it's very interesting and it deserves attention. Then we also had the oil spiking, the price of oil spiking on the reports that there was going to be attacks within hours or days on Venezuela. That was another news story that was coming up, and it was actually about the idea that their own military was supporting some type of drug trade, that type of thing. Well, that was another one that all suddenly got changed because it said right here on this particular source that their president requested immediate military assistance from these other countries. So there again, he is a good guy. He's doing the right thing. He doesn't want us in World War III because immediately he said he is not considering the strikes anymore. And so that is, I believe, good statement-like behavior. You don't want to have that kind of thing just suddenly manifest and unfold. We've got to try to keep it real, keep it safe. And thank you again, David. That was one of the most memorable aspirants. You showed and explained incredible stuff as usual. Does the rapid increase in the price of precious metals have anything to do with our current global happenings? It certainly could. Has Stavati had any talks with John Hutchison? I don't think we have, but we certainly could. Maybe 3i Atlas is upgrading the light codes of our Merkabas as well, says Glynis Elaine. Well, again, the point is that, you know, he was a good statesman. He did the right thing, backed off on that so we don't end up in some type of World War III situation. And we're very, very glad that that happened. We really don't want this to turn into a huge nightmare for everybody. And that's good, you know, because that's not going to get anybody what we need. So I'm really glad that you guys have been here with me today. It's been an incredible show. And I now have some interesting stuff from the Law of One that we can discuss that gets into the concept of the facing of the self and how this all goes into our philosophical implications. Chaos that we're experiencing right now causes us to finally face the self, and for the first time we begin to see unhealthy aspects of what's really going on here. Things look really bad and you end up completely believing that doom is going to happen. You fully believe that what you are seeing is the truth. It absolutely appears that you have no way out of your crisis. And this is what actually causes you to face the self. Then miracles occur and everything suddenly shifts. That's what we're going through right now, folks. And I believe there's going to be a miracle around 3i Atlas as well. Even if they tried to scare us with it, it's not going to turn out bad. At the end of the day, it'll all be positive. This is an energetic effect, and it is part of the Ascension process. Jim Garrigus says, I'm glad you're back, and I love the live stream. Thank you. Law of One is the source text that I based my work off of. Although the source calls itself Ra, it has very Christian principles, and each session was involving an open Bible and protections through prayer. The source itself says that they built the Great Pyramid as a monument to the coming Christ, which is another very fascinating element of it. So the pyramid is a harbinger of the Christ's presence on earth. The Law of One is very controversial because, again, you know, why would a source calling itself Ra be anything positive? Isn't that kind of a scary, like, oh, you know, Egyptian, whoa, what does that mean? No, originally it was positive, and then it got distorted into the negative by the priests and people of the era, and then it turned into something that it wasn't originally intended to be. So that's part of what we're dealing with here. Everything was grossly misunderstood, and now it appears that this source Ra may be the same as the Christian entity Archangel Michael, which is Jesus' highest angel intending to defeat and destroy evil. So this is a quote that if it'll cooperate, I'd like to read it to you. Does the fact that basic vibration we now experience is green, or fourth density, account for the fact that there are many mental effects upon material objects now observable for the first time in a mass way, like bending metal by the mind? And they say this will be your final question for this work. This is not only correct, but we suggest you take this concept further and understand that the great number of entities with so-called mental diseases is due to the effect of the green ray time. So this is a pretty interesting statement to make. The great number of entities with so-called mental diseases are having an effect on their mind caused by this new energy that's coming into the solar system. So what the Law of One teaches us, again, is that we have Christ energy, that we have this the spiritualizing force. There's a spiritualizing energy. Whoops, I've got a big gap of blackness there. So yeah, it really doesn't like slides at all. Somehow this is all changed, and it doesn't work the same way that it used to. But anyway, Amber says, I've had no trouble getting your broadcast. David, I'm getting frequent buffering messages on my home system in Pennsylvania. The buffering is getting worse. Okay, so we really can't do very many of these slides. Anyway, I will get to the point of what we're trying to say here, which is that The Law of One talks about the concept of facing of the self, and that when this higher energy, this Christ-like energy, is actually coming into our entire solar system, that it's raising our frequency in the solar system. We're actually being transformed on a solar system level. Oh, you see, as I'm talking fast, it seems like I'm getting more buffering. That could be part of it. But it just seems to keep on happening. It's a very sad thing. But, I'm trying not to dwell on it too much. No buffering in Tucson. So different people are having it. Some people are not. Lana Case wants me to play my guitar. So again, when this Christ energy comes in, it comes in at these frequencies that are going to raise your vibration, but if you're not prepared for it, it can drag you down, and it can leave you feeling energetically depleted. It can leave you feeling sad. It can leave you feeling depressed. All of these things very much happen. So sadness, depression would be the so-called mental diseases they're talking about here, and that this green ray energy will cause, problems for people unready to mentally face the self for the first time. And we don't really want that to happen. So that's a very interesting statement that it made. And then he says, are there any other effects of the pyramid shape besides the spirals we just discussed? The answer is there are several, but their uses are limited. The use of the resonating chamber, which is the king's chamber. So we're now talking about the sarcophagus inside the king's chamber. And again, I just need to read this stuff to you so that we don't keep buffering, I guess. The resonating chamber challenges your ability of the adept to face the self. So this is an interesting point, that the pyramid is built to create a raising of frequencies of energy. And as that energy is increased, it's going to be causing you to face yourself, which can result in mental illness, but you want to look at yourself and you want to see what's really there. You want to find the parts of yourself that you weren't able to forgive, that you weren't able to love. You want to rise that frequency beyond that level of just feeling bad about yourself and go into a higher state of consciousness. And this is very important. As you're looking at these chaotic things, as you see negativity, you want to try to be more positive, rise above that stuff, and not have it take you down. But you want to go into, a loving consciousness. Feel yourself rising in frequency, feel yourself rising in vibration, and understand that these challenges are gifts. We're all being given various challenges at this time. It's not an easy time to be alive on earth at all. It's a time of great hardship. It's a time of great difficulty. And so when you're looking at something that seems like it's so scary, it's insurmountable, I just encourage you to focus on the positive, to not get dragged down by the negativity that you're actually seeing, but just, keep living in that higher truth. Tony Koretsch just donated and says, just want to say I appreciate you, brother. Donated $1.99. Thank you very much. Frequency 963, gratitude, guys. Feel grateful for something. High vibrations. You will know Jesus when you see him because you will feel like you are home. If you don't feel like you are, then it's not him, says Wild Honey 1971. The eyes will deceive many greatly in these times. Discernment and intuition must be fortified, says Master Light. Thomas Adshay Jr., follow your excitement and passion from moment to moment with no insistence or expectation about an outcome. You will be where you need to be when you need to be there. Okay. In the midst of chaos is the true name of this stream. Rosa Croza is laughing. Scroza. Thank you for being a role model for us, says Mona Pratt. Let's keep fighting. That's why the Source sends us his most courageous souls, says Space Cadet Lottie. I love your Nautilus, David, and I have the same almost time for your pee break. The live stream just shifted to 5D. We got a $10 donation from Sedona. Much love from Sedona. When will people be arrested? Well, we don't know that yet, but it definitely could be happening. David, can we do a quick meditation now that we are glitching so much? Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so let's close your eyes for a minute here. Take a nice deep breath with me. And let's tune into the peace of this moment as we learn to go down deep inside the soul, deep inside the self, feeling gratitude and harmony for that which is occurring in our lives and in the universe. We see these problems that seem like they are insolvable, and then miraculously things have a way of working out. The SNAP situation was such a shocking event, turnaround. That's an example. The hurricane, another example. And there will be others. We've explored the concept of Three-Eye Atlas quite greatly. And now we're just going to let ourselves tune in. Feel a deepening of our connection to the source. Feel the glory that rises within us as we learn to take it easy on ourselves. Feel grateful about our lives and have a renewed appreciation about who we are and what we are really doing here. Taking more and more deep breaths, allowing that consciousness to expand, feeling safe in this moment, feeling whole and pure and complete. Learning what really needs to be done to get beyond the blockages that have held us back for so long. All of these things come in. The time of times is upon us. Feeling that love, feeling that glory, feeling that gratitude, knowing that as difficulties occur, we can just move beside them with effortless ease and grace and flow. We do not need to be defined by that which has hurt us in the past. And if any ads come up, then we just hit skip if that's what we choose to do, but we stay right in the meditation. Monica Kanagowski saying, raise our energetic frequency to match Earth's new frequency. Raise our energetic frequency and expand. Integrate these higher levels of consciousness. Feeling that love flowing through, feeling so much warmth and peace and happiness. No longer needing to be burdened down by the struggles, but lifted up beyond the limitations that we once saw as being insurmountable. Living in the flow, living in the consciousness of safety, feeling that peace. Allowing yourself to become very deeply relaxed now. Finding all of those resources inside yourself that you need. Breathing in that safety that is always there around you. Knowing that all is well, despite what it may appear at various times. This Christ consciousness is a loving, higher vibration. Thinking about the sacrifice of the man Jesus. And whether you follow the story and believe it or not, it has something in there for all of us. It is the hero's journey. A being who does not wish to go through that ultimate pain. Father, please let this cup pass from me. And many of us have felt that way. Many of us have felt that this is too much to bear. It's just an ongoing series of problems and hassles and difficulties. And we want to move beyond suffering that we feel. The hero's journey involves facing your deepest fears, facing the shadow, working through the trauma. So as you lie back and just feel yourself going deeper and deeper into relaxation, so much at peace in the now, enjoying the fullness of everything that is happening, the availability of the life force energy that surrounds you. Learning that it's okay to be afraid, but that so many times things that we're afraid of do not come to pass. And yet, so often we just believe with every fiber of our being that this bad thing will happen or that bad thing will happen. And we just can't bear any more. We don't want to go through it ever again. We want it to all be behind us forever. And we're overwhelmed. And it seems that there is no hope. Well, that's actually not true. The white light of the Christ consciousness, whatever you choose to call it, surrounds you, uplifting you with its majesty, with its presence, filling you with its harmony and its peace as we all breathe together. Learning that it's okay to be scared, it's okay to feel afraid. And we want to have integrity. When we are faced with these challenges, we want to be honest about them, honest with ourselves, honest with the people who we care about. Learning how to not give in to that negativity, to not give in to that sense of inevitable sorrow and doom. We rise up, moving beyond what captivated us before, moving beyond the fear that seems so overwhelming, and learning what it really means to be here in the now, in this moment, with all of this community and fellowship around us, all of this love. And we have Tom McWhorter saying, you have to know pain to appreciate pleasure. Remember the chrysalis in the process of your metamorphosis. Letting yourself be completely content with the universe as it is. The changes that have come, the changes that continue to happen, all part of a grand scheme. Just like Andromeda Daisy is saying, being in a state of grace and ease and deep gratitude. It's so wonderful when you can allow yourself to just be at peace, to not be limited by feelings of fear, feelings of negativity and pain. Allowing yourself to just experience the joy of existence. Thank you for the donation, 7 geometric thought forms. He says, a blue jay just grabbed a shelled peanut from my squirrel feeder. That is sweet. I've never seen one close up. Good show, Mr. Wilcock. Oh my goodness. No data. What happened? Okay, we're back again. We had a little glitch there, but sorry about that. Now it says excellent, so we're back on the air. I guess we just refreshed the stream. Let's keep on meditating here. Breathing in once again to that peaceful silence. We are still on the air. Life is good. We're breathing through our difficulties here, having a good time. You're still there. You're still live. The stream is okay. Everything is fine. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Allowing yourself now to just tune in to that stillness, to tune in to that radiance, that glory, feeling ever more enlightened and at peace with the world, the way that it is. Just breathing through whatever it is that comes your way. Nobody seems to have had glitches. That's very good. We like what's happening. We like the changes in the world. We like to be feeling so relaxed. We see that everything is moving through a perfect plan, and that there are times ahead that will be very glorious once we get through the initial phases that have to come first. We see the fear-mongering that has occurred around Three-Eye Atlas. We understand that there may be some manifestation, perhaps photographs, perhaps video. We don't really know what we're going into yet, but we embrace the process and we will face it without fear. Just as we are embracing each stage of our boots on the ground, day-by-day existence, what it is that's happening, how it works for us. Frequency 963 says, "Give all your sorrows to the Most High. He fights our battles, for they are not in the flesh, but with principalities." It's the ultimate concept of work smarter, but not harder, and it works for me. "Accept golden streams of joy. Stand underneath them and feel their warmth," says Wes H. "Uplifting each other is so important," says Anna Nishida. Breathing through this wonderful relaxation, coming to a greater understanding of ourselves, knowing that relaxation is always possible, and the glory that comes with that moment as it opens up into true peace and true understanding for us. Never having to shy away from difficulty, but rather face it directly and embrace it. Lifting ourselves up and letting it all go, as Marcus Inks just said. Overwhelming gratitude, profound thanks, says Raffaella Fracconfini. I slightly paraphrased. Positive good vibrations to all, says Deplorable Dreg. Living in this promise that it is possible to have a greater life, to have greater joy, greater attainment, facing those things that seem impossible to solve, those problems that seem way beyond our ability to fix, and just learning that it's okay. It's okay to be where you are, to love yourself, to support your infinite identity through this wonderful breathing practice we are now doing together. Learning about the intricacies of ourselves, the intricacies of our lives, how we move beyond suffering, how we move beyond stress. Embracing that inner Christ self and rising to the challenge that it presents us, that we shall be remade as we face the self. We shall see those parts of ourselves that we don't like, see those parts of ourselves that are crying and in pain, and find a whole new way to begin, a whole new way to live. Going into deep relaxation, satisfaction, enjoyment, blissful consciousness, ease, ease, ease and flow. Recognizing that Christ for what it really is. This omnipresent energy that flows through you can never be defeated, never be destroyed. The original identity of the universe, going so far beyond the definitions that we seek to impose upon it. Feeling grateful for what we have, grateful for our lives, grateful for all of the gifts that we have been given, and how those gifts materialize and manifest in the now. For this is not something that's so easily done. It takes time to get there, but we do that through a series of steps that we take on our own. And those steps give us much more reliability. There's much more sensibility in what we are doing when we have that voice of protection. Not having to be defined by our past, not having to be defined by whatever sense of limitations we might have had, but truly understanding that all is well. And feeling that glory that comes to us in so many ways. Sage Marie Springer says, "That's it. Have you not recognized me yet? I am here." Absolutely. We appreciate this Christ presence. We glorify all of the beauty of the one infinite Creator, the effervescence and the ease and flow with which it flows in our minds and hearts and bodies. We know that we need not be scared anymore. We need not feel fear about the things that we cannot change. We simply address those things and change what we can. And we're so happy about the gift of life, the gift of our humanity, the glory of being who we are in this moment. For we are not going to dwindle away. Our planet will not be destroyed. We will be uplifted, transformed, the negativity exposed, and also transformed. For it all begins within each of us. And when we have the courage to face the self, the courage to explore new definitions of our being, everything changes, everything transforms. And there is nothing to fear. We are in a wonderful place because we are here now. We are here in our own world, in the universe, experiencing immortality, experiencing joy, experiencing foreverness, something that goes so far beyond what we thought we were that we can never be put back in the same box again. We transcend the limitations of any constrictions that are put upon us. We move beyond those senses of difficulty that were so heavily overwhelming in the past. All things coming into fruition, all things being transformed, all things being revived. Our lives are no longer subject to upheavals, no longer subject to great stress, and to feel better about ourselves and better about our situation and better about where it is taking us as a soul and as a species. That's what it takes. It's the glory of knowing that we are going to be okay because we create our own healing. We create our own ascension. We're not being held back. Robert Chalmers says, I missed the start. What are we all to be afraid of? Well, there's been many things coming our way that cause us difficulty in various forms. We had the SNAP benefits issue, we had hurricanes, geopolitical turmoil, government shutdowns, economic upheavals. And we're being guided to just relax through those changes, reaffirm our safety and our peace, the uplifting warmth of being held in the grace of the one Creator, held in the grace of knowing that there is a plan on earth that is being fulfilled. We may not see exactly how it is being fulfilled, but we know that something is going on that is very positive. And we're willing to hold space for that. We're willing to embrace a positive future. We have a choice. There is nothing to fear. That's right, says Dennis Stambaugh. So positive now. All these changes that are happening to us, redefining what we thought we were, bringing us into a greater consciousness, looking at the happiness that is always available to you when you reaffirm who and what you are. Feeling that love, feeling that warmth, feeling that resonance, feeling that peace, feeling the peace that is always there inside of us, knowing that all will be well, that even as we have glitches and pains, that there is something much more than that. Something much beyond what we thought, but that we're actually feeling a newness. We're feeling a great uplifting sense of positivity. And we're ready for the new changes. We're ready for the new understandings that are being opened up for us. Choosing that light, choosing that consciousness, choosing that radiance. Enjoying the surprise, enjoying all that is happening to make us whole and pure as our minds are expanded, being able to rest with ease and grace and flow like never before, experiencing, yes, the resurrection of the Christ consciousness within us, breathing into the heart, facing the shadow, being able to give love freely and without reservation, and feeling safe in that moment, safe in that knowingness that we are going to be okay, that all is well, the universe has our back, a second coming that is always there within us, waiting to be unlocked, waiting to be embraced like never before. Feeling that enormous gratitude. Feeling the glory of knowing that we have been receiving prophecies of such wonderful futures, wonderful events. There's no need to be afraid. We have so much happiness in us now, and it will always be there. We don't need to be in any level of fear at all. Just trust and support. Aligning with the divine at all times, says Pineal Power Podcast, infinite intelligence, governing and watching over all of our affairs, actions and transactions, whatever we do shall and will prosper. thank you so much. Thank you for this glorious gift. Thank you for what we have shared today. Thank you for being here with us, O Father, Mother, God. Spirit of everlasting, infinite love, the one infinite Creator. We are so grateful for what you have to share with us, so grateful for the change, so grateful for the transformation that we embody. It is truly wonderful, and we are never alone. It's really, really great to be here today. It's really, really great to feel this energy. So let's now say thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for holding space with us today. Thank you for this presence of love and light and healing that we've shared. Thank you for your glory. We are so grateful to you. We approach you with respect and reverence, knowing that all is well, and that we do what we can to make our difference in the world. And so it is. All right. Right now on our stream, we're at the 3-hour mark. It was a beautiful meditation. And I'm glad that I was able to be with you guys today. It's been a really good thing that we could do this. Sorry that I wasn't around for a while. I'm very sorry about all the glitches that we had with the stream. This is by far, the greatest challenge I've ever had in doing a show. Never had anything like this happen before. It's quite intense. It's kind of sad and scary, but we managed to get through it. And for the most part, the show stayed on the air. We managed to just hang in there through this. I'm still not really sure what's going on, but you guys did say that this is happening across the YouTube platform, right? You said that it's not just me, it's other people as well. And it's maybe live streams in general, maybe from solar activity. Anybody has any other insights on that, please write them in the comments, and I'll read it out loud. But thank you. What a wonderful show. Lana Case, thank you, David, welcome back. Paul Cannon, great meditation. Orimo Art, thank you, bless you. Sydney Mansfield, thanks, David, that was so nice. Enlightened Executive, best meditation ever. Thank you, David, wonderful meditation. Don't forget self-care and love for yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. You're not alone in glitching, says Rosa Scroza. Maybe our energy affected the stream. Hey, Dave, hi from Australia. I just tuned into the time difference. I'll listen to the recording on the way to work. Portugal has glitches. Thank you, David, for the space of loving energy. It wasn't that bad. So anyway, we're psionic interference from the lizard men, somebody says. Anyway, things are good, and we can always be grateful to have what we have, to have what we see. What we need to do here is so positive. This is a very important mission for planet Earth. Says Matthew, the preparation is almost complete. As you said, the negative has to happen to get us to the precipice. Rob of Broccoli, we appreciate all your work. Thank you. Mercury is already working in retrograde. Thank you, David, for the meditation. It was beautiful. I always enjoy your shows. Good job, David. Well done. Thank you. It was beautiful. My energy levels have been off the charts today. Thank you, David, for the very relaxing meditation, says Bevy Liza. I'm grateful for the technical glitches that created a more authentic show with the best meditation so far, a really long one, very loving, healing, and beautiful. Don't be sad, David. You're always going to be the man, says Midnight Mark. Well, it was sad, but, we're working on it. And let me open up that widget, I guess. But if I do that, I could lose the whole show. So I'm not going to do that till I'm ready to be done here. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm going to update all my software. We'll try to get ahead of this problem for next week. And I want to thank you guys for being here today. These are exercises to increase our capacity to have faith. Okay, yeah. AWS, Amazon, many other content networks and DNS services have been going down for hours in the last week or so, give or take. Thank you for that. I've been seeing so many triple number synchronicities over the last couple of weeks, says Bella's Patio Garden. Thank you, David. You've been saving our hope for a long time. I'm going to continue to meditate with the 528 hertz heart chakra. You rock, David. Thank you for your service to humanity. Yes, and one of the things I've thought about doing as a product is actually doing some meditation work for you guys so that you have, dedicated meditation CDs, or it wouldn't be CDs anymore, it'd be MP3s, but how do you guys feel about that as a product that you might be willing to pay for, because I need to sell products. So one of the things I've thought about is using that meditation and really kind of running with it and doing some cool stuff. We're going to try to find out the best that we can for that. But anyway, it's something that we could do. For the 200th time, it's not your computer, it's YouTube. Right. Well, we ended up getting through it anyway, and I hope that that's all it is. But we will try to get everything upgraded. I'm going to try to work on that before the next show. Perfect show with no glitches. So some people have them, some people don't. Yes, please. We love your voice. Yes, please. Sell meditations. I would buy them. You should record some, definitely. We will gladly. Yeah, I mean, we have to have some kind of an income here. And I've thought about that people can sleep. We could do one that's about sleep. We could do one that's about manifesting abundance. All these different things could be really well done. I'm sad it was a distraction for you, says Suzanne Ariella Luna. You put so much into these shows. You always come through in a powerful way to support us. Whatever is happening, you are awesome. Great show today, David. Grateful for your time, energy, and efforts. Meditation is my weakness, says James Sykes. Yes. Thank you for our challenges so we can grow with peace with us. David just broke YouTube today. LOL. One last angry daddy for us all, says Bobby Thoma. David, I just can't believe that you got to go out there and try to hawk your wares and think that you can sell stuff. And if people want to pay money to listen to you talk in this very relaxing and soothing voice, it doesn't make any sense to dear old daddy, David. You just need to get out there and keep it all free and don't even worry about whether you make money or not, son. Well, no, Daddy is actually supportive. My real father is very supportive of doing a product. You have to sell merchandise in this business, so we're looking at different ways to do that. But that's one of the things I might do. So we're gonna keep looking at it. But yeah, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me a great day today. I feel really good. I'm glad to be back. I feel happy. I feel positive. I feel supported. And I want to thank you guys for being part of the team. We have a whole lot to offer you, and we're doing it with grace, ease, and flow. So we have to take stock of the wins. We got to, process the wins as we process the losses. It's important to do all that stuff. I'm queuing up my closing screen here. I'm not even really sure if any of what I did with camera changes managed to change how the buffering has occurred. We just have had a very glitchy stream, but really, really sorry about that. Again, divinecosmos.com is the website I was using if you want to get me something there. What has happened to your business with Stavati? Well, Stavati's alive and well, stavati.com. Thank you, David, says Gail Malcolm. Yes, it was great to be here today. Really glad you guys tuned in. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next show. I don't even really want to leave. I want to keep going, but we're at the 3-hour mark. That's pretty good. And, I will do my best to be back next week. Hopefully I can do that. We're just working through some very intense stuff in my own life, but there's been lots of good things too. And so I'm teaching what I learn as we go along the way. Stop apologizing, please, says Jocelyn. Okay, well, I don't always agree, but I very much appreciate your opinion. Good work, David. I've been with you for decades. Thank you for everything you do. We love you. Thank you, brother, says Alan Masters. Best show, beloved David. We never want to say goodbye to you either. I'm holding a great heart for Stavati. Yes, Stavati's doing great. I miss your 5-hour shows. Well, this is about all the energy I've got right now. Thank you, David, for all your time, effort, and energy. The sun, the energy coming in makes it more intense. It really is. Good luck. Love you. See you soon. Blessings. Even Angry Daddy has been blessed by a higher power. It was a great show. We love you, David. All right, you guys. We're going to get going now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next time around, whenever that is, hopefully next Sunday. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye for now.